Meteorologist Andrew Kozak is tracking it.
We are still looking at a very strong north wind, northwest at times, 40, 50 miles per hour, still giving us not only accumulating snow with our next little wave riding this, but also lake effect snow where we could be looking at an additional 1 to 2 feet right across areas like Buffalo, Rochester, and then even toward Lake Michigan, or in fact, all the lakes.
Minutes from the Federal Reserve meeting earlier this month were released today showing reservations about the interest rate cut. Analyst Gus Fauché.
They had indicated that some of them wanted to cut rates, some of them didn't want to cut rates. So I think it's not that there's something wrong with the Fed or anything like that. I think it's just we're in an odd spot in the economy where we're seeing both inflation that is above the Fed's 2% target, but also a job market that is softening, and we're seeing a higher unemployment rate.
On Wall Street today, stocks finished lower. The Dow was off about 95 points. This is CBS News.
Sponsored Insurance. Take the next step forward in your career with great benefits and an award-winning workplace. Apply at careers.progressive.com.
Between all the holiday parties,
weekend tailgates,
and family get-togethers,
we've been overindulging a little more than usual over the holidays. But now, we are starting the new year off on a healthier note by taking Active Liver supplements from New Nordic every day.
Active Liver contains a powerful blend of turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke extract, all natural ingredients that help protect the liver so that it can protect you from toxins. It's like giving my body a daily detox. I've never felt better, and my energy is through the roof.
And my doctor is already impressed with how much better my numbers are looking. So if better health, more energy, and detoxing your body are some of your priorities this year, get Active Liver today and start the year off knowing you're giving your liver some well-deserved relief.
Active Liver is available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com. Or pick some up today at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery. Are now available at Wegmans. New year, new you, new Nordic.
Americans were asked about the future back in 1998, and here's what they got right and wrong. CBS's Jen Clark.
27 years ago, Gallup polled over 1,000 Americans on a landline about what they thought would happen by 2025.
Back to the future.
They predicted that we'd have a black president, that gay marriage would be legal, and a new disease would emerge. However, in 1998, they also thought we'd have a cure for cancer by now and a female president. Americans also thought that people would be living to be 100 years old by 2025. Currently, the average American life expectancy is 78 years. Jen Clark, CBS News.
Idaho-based Mountain West Food Group is recalling nearly 3,000 pounds of raw ground beef that may have been contaminated with E. coli. The 16-ounce vacuum-sealed packages were labeled Forward Farms grass-fed ground beef and were sold to distributors in 6 states. Affected packages have a label telling customers to use or freeze the meat by January 13th. Jennifer Kuiper, CBS News.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
WPHT HD3 Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Live and local with Linda Kerns on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
And good evening. This is Linda Kerns sitting in for Jimmy Fala here at 1210 WPHT on the Odyssey app, iHeartRadio, and of course on YouTube, and also on your regular car radio. Hi, Justin. How are you?
That's going well. You know, it's funny. You know who's filling in for Jimmy Fallon tonight on his actual show?
Tell me it's Zioli and I'm competing against him.
It's Zioli again.
Oh, great. Oh, great.
Expect to hear about that in a text message.
I bet. Okay. Well, and Justin's wearing his Eagles hat tonight, so I'm happy that you're on board. But Justin, you know, I showed up here. I spent the afternoon at the hairdresser getting new highlights. You didn't say a thing.
I was waiting until we got on air.
Oh, okay.
Because I remember when we were having when we were debating on if we wanted to do the camera for the YouTube, you were talking about how you wanted to do yesterday. You didn't have the highlights.
Yeah,
today
yesterday
you
was
do.
the before picture. Today's the after.
So I was going
picture.
to wait till we got on air to actually make it. They look nice. They look great.
Oh, thank you. And I brought you dinner again.
God bless you.
I mean,
God bless you.
I am just a great guest host. So there is one day left in 2025, and we're almost to New Year's Day when we're going to have our own Dawn Stensland hosting the Mummers Parade. So if you want to watch that, what you can do is just Google how to watch the Mummers Parade, and you can get all the options. You can watch it like on your computer, and there's apps, and there's a television station that's airing it. So we want to watch Dawn because that's a great way to start off the new year. And today in Elvis Presley history, which we have to mention because this is Linda Kerns, the Elvis Presley fan here at 1210 WPHT. Today in Elvis Presley history, Elvis announced that Priscilla was leaving him. So that kind of just goes to show you that even the king was unlucky in love. Elvis and Priscilla married on May 1st, 1967, and she left him in 1971. So unfortunately, that love story did not last long. She was a very young woman when she left him, only in her 20s with her young child. So that's sad for Elvis. But on this day in 1957, Elvis's Christmas album reached #1 in the U.S. So I know Phil Almquist isn't here, but I'm sure he mentioned all that on Today in Music History with Phil Almquist, and hopefully maybe he'll talk about Elvis this Saturday on his show where he's getting a great 8 share. And here, live and local in the Delaware Valley, I don't know if you're in New Jersey, but if you are, you need to be on the lookout for a kangaroo who's on the loose. Apparently actually a wallaby, which they look like kangaroos. Justin, I sent you the picture if you want to put it on the YouTube chat. So this wallaby was inside a barn in Williamstown, New Jersey, in a petting zoo called the Lots of Love Farm, and somehow he got out, and he's apparently roaming around New Jersey. So if you happen to be in New Jersey and you see something that looks like a kangaroo hopping around, you're not in Australia, you are in New Jersey, and I guess you can call the authorities. That little guy must be so scared. I can't imagine. He was apparently spotted in a Walmart parking lot, and then just hopping around. And the authorities say that if you do see him, don't necessarily approach him because while he is a friendly little animal, he is like a kangaroo and he could attack, especially if he's cornered. So if you do see him, call the authorities. His name is Rex. Justin just put his picture up on the YouTube chat. He's a cute little guy, and I just can't imagine how scared he is wandering around. And I bet when they do catch him and bring him back, he'll probably never want to escape that zoo again, because he'll realize, you know what, life is a lot easier here in the zoo where someone's coming to feed me and take care of me every day. It's maybe not as fun in the outside world. And today, it looks like it was announced that George Clooney became a French citizen. So I'm hoping he gave up his U.S. citizenship. What do you think, Justin? Do we know if he did?
Hasn't been confirmed yet, but I doubt. That egomaniac's not going to give up both passports unless he's required. I think France is a dual citizenship state.
I've never understood why we in the United States allow people to keep their old citizenship. I don't understand. I think that you should just not be permitted to do it. If you're going to be an American, be an American. If you're going to go somewhere else, then you got to give up your U.S. citizenship. I don't understand why we allow that. I think that if you are lucky enough to be an American, then you should treasure that and certainly not become a citizen of another country. If he did give up his U.S. citizenship, I mentioned this on the Dom show today, he's going to have trouble donating to these Democrat candidates because they're there's restrictions on donations from foreign individuals trying to keep foreign money out of U.S. elections. So he's definitely going to have a problem with that. So I am hoping he gave up his U.S. citizenship. But I mean, has he even made a movie lately? I think he kind of is past his sell-by date.
Yeah. I think that also might be a reason why he's trying to keep the American passport, because he can try and claim like, oh, I'm an American citizen. That shouldn't limit me to how much money I can donate to my Democrat friends.
Yeah.
He's kind of loophole his way through it.
Yeah, I mean, remember how he meddled in the 24 election, writing that op-ed about Biden? Oof, that was just, geez, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. I'm glad I'm not friends with George Clooney. It doesn't sound like he treats his friends very nice. And today they announced that Tashiana Schlossberg died. She is one of the daughters of Caroline Kennedy. She was only, I believe, 35 years old. Caroline Kennedy had 3 children, and Tashiana apparently was one child who actually kind of looks like she had a career. She was a writer. She had worked for a newspaper in New Jersey. She wrote a lot of essays, and she had 2 young children. Apparently, when she had her second baby, I think it was a daughter, in some routine blood tests, they found some problems, and that was very recently, I think a little over a year ago, and it turned out she had leukemia, and she passed away today. And I'm really not a fan of the Kennedys at all, but I certainly feel for them in losing such a young woman, and the Kennedys certainly had their share of tragedies. Certainly Caroline did, with her father dying, and then her mother, I think, died of leukemia, and then her brother died. So she has had her share of tragedy. And even though I'm not necessarily a fan of them, I do hope she rests in peace and her family's okay. And one thing I wanted to just mention tonight is I don't want people to forget Corey Compatore. He was the fire chief that was killed by that horrible assassin by a bullet that was meant for President Trump at the Trump rally back in the summer of 2024. And that was so tragic. He was covering his children. Like, once the bullets start flying, he apparently dove on top of his daughters, and he died on top of his daughter. His last act on this earth was to save his daughter. And I just don't want to forget him. If you Google him, he's not even in the news anymore. I hope his family is doing okay. These holidays must be terrible without him. So we will be right back. This is Linda Kerns. You can find me at Linda Kerns Law, and I'm here on 1210 WPHT.
Hi, this is Larry Steinhaus, and I want to let you know that I buy houses. I buy houses from people that may be a tired landlord, maybe somebody who's having trouble selling their house, or maybe someone who needs to sell their house quickly. Well, all you need to do is call 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137, and I promise to answer the phone and help you with your situation. That's right, your house may be cluttered. It may be a house that a relative left you, or it may just be a house you just want to get rid of. 855-939-1137.
Hey, it's Dom Giordano. Recently, I had the chance to chat with Navy veterans at a watch party for the Army-Navy game hosted by Navy League Philly. I wanted to learn more about what Navy League Philly does for our Sea Service members. Take a listen.
We're talking with Jay Meissner. And Jay, what's your role? How are you connected to the Navy League?
I'm a regional director for the U.S. Naval State Cadet Corps, the official program for the Navy and the Coast Guard, and they're supported by the Navy League. So they support the units in the area and the 10 to 13, 14, 15-year-olds that are in the program.
What intrigues them? Is it the Coast Guard that intrigues them? Do they think they're going to be in the high seas chasing down drug runners? What is it?
It's an open chance to try what the military would be. If the Navy does it, we can do it. We have trainings all over. They go to regular training. They go to drill like a reservist every month. Military ceremony and drill, colors, teaching, leadership courses.
You can do your part to support our Sea Service members by becoming a member for just $25 a year. Go to NavyLeaguePhilly.org to join.
Download to see if you qualify for Albert Instant Advance. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription is required for Instant Advance. Please see the Albert app or albert.com for subscription pricing. Subscriptions can be canceled at any time.
Kylie, what's wrong? I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? You can get up to a $1,000 advance fast to pay for car repairs, bills, rent, rent, groceries, whatever you need. Plus, Albert can help you find ways to save and give you a custom budget to actually grow your money.
Albert can get me up to $1,000?
Exactly. But they do more than get you up to $1,000. Albert is your financial assistant, helping you budget, save, and spotting you money in a pinch.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code SAVE to get up to $1,000 for your bills, rent, groceries, and more. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code SAVE to get up to $1,000. Use code SAVE to get up to $1,000.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
And welcome back. This is Linda Kerns on 1210 WPHT. We are live and local from Philadelphia. Call in at 855-839-1210, and it is 30.9 degrees in Philly. Quite chilly. I think it's going to be pretty chilly for that Mummers Parade. So if you're going, make sure that you suit up, wear gloves, a hat, anything to stay warm while you're watching those mummers. And speaking of mummers, I booked a real live mummer to come on and talk to us tonight. He's going to be calling in around 7:40 or so. He is part of it's called the Froggy Car New Year's Association, the Wench Brigade. So they're the ones that dress kind of in the costumes where they spray paint their sneakers. So he's going to come in. He's not coming in. He's going to call in. He's going to talk to us. He is in the Mummers Parade every year with his oldest son, and I'm interested to hear about it. I want to hear how far they have to walk, about all the dancing that they have to do, the meetings that they have, how they get ready for the parade. Because here in Philly, I mean, New Year's Day means the mummers. That's what we do here on New Year's Day. And of course, don't forget to watch our lovely Dawn Stenslin hosting the Mummers Parade with her husband Larry Mente. I hope that Dawn stays nice and warm when she's hosting that parade, because I think she has to sit outside. But Dawn's a pro. I mean, and we're all lucky to have her here at 1210 WPHT. You know, I was reading in the New York Times today this fascinating story, and I couldn't put it down. People may not remember this, but in 1975, there was an assassination attempt on President Ford, and he was shot by someone named. Her name was Sarah Jane Moore, and she attempted assassination. She was caught and put in jail. And several years ago, there was a family with their father, their 85-year-old father, who had been widowed, and he was really lonely. He was used to having his family around, his wife around. So his kids suggested that he signed up for a dating site to get some companionship. He had been married to his wife 60 years. And often when you're in one of those long-term marriages, you end up, it can get lonely when you lose your companion. So he met this woman on a dating site, and she gave her name as Sarah Can. And she really inserted herself in his life. They did a lot of things together. She met the kids. She was very flirtatious with him. She was 80 at the time. And she didn't really tell him too much about her background. She was actually from around here. This has kind of like a local flair to it, because she was at the time from Coatesville, Pennsylvania. Well, the children began to get suspicious when, not soon after they started dating, the woman's decided that she was going to move in with Phil. So when he told his children that they were pretty much alarmed, and they started Googling her. And when they did, they found out that her name was not Sarah Can. Her name was Sarah Jane Moore, and she had tried to assassinate President Ford on September 22nd, 1975. And you're wondering, if you're going to assassinate or try to assassinate a president, why are you still not in jail? Well, apparently she had been let out on parole in 2007. She did serve 30 years of a life sentence in federal prison. And when the kids found out about it, of course, they were absolutely horrified that this woman had ingratiated herself with her dad. But, by that time, the dad pretty much didn't care. He didn't mind that she had this criminal history, and he allowed her to move in with him. And apparently she started getting a lot of control over him. The dad, she convinced him to change his will. And remember, this man had been married to his wife for 60 years. So he had a full life with the woman that he had been married to. So she really just ingratiated herself with him. She moved in with him. She kind of took over his finances, and she convinced him to change his will several times. And the children just really, really did not like her, did not care for her, did not trust her. And, this is a story I think that plays out a lot when elderly people lose their spouse and then find someone who's, a lot of times the children don't necessarily warm up to this new person, but in this case, I think the kids had a really, really, really good reason. I mean, this woman had tried to assassinate President Ford. So eventually they ended up, he got older. The dad got even older. He had a knee replacement surgery. His health began to deteriorate, and they moved into like a retirement type facility. Unfortunately, the children were so upset. He stopped talking to his son, and the daughter often thought, maybe I should just go get my dad and just get him out of this situation. But she ultimately, did not do that. Her dad eventually died. When the dad died, they found out that this woman who had tried to assassinate President Ford had changed his will several times. And not only did she end up with a lot of his estate worth $700,000, for whatever reason, he also left her the household belongings and all of the family heirlooms, which included a lot of the possessions of their deceased mother, which that would be absolutely just horrible for to happen to a children. You lose your dad, and then the possessions that you wanted, those family heirlooms, the things that linked to your past, you find out that your dad's second wife kind of kept them. Well, the children did end up suing because, the lawyers always win. You got to get the lawyers involved. And they did eventually settle the case. Looks like she kept most of the money, but she did give up the family heirlooms. And for some reason, she originally would not give up the father's ashes. So she was actually keeping the father's ashes from the children, but eventually it looks like she did give them up. But the weird part of the story was just, I think, like last year or the year before, the daughter received a call from a man in Nashville, and he said his father-in-law, an older gentleman, had just joined an online dating service. It was called Silver Singles, and he was matched with a woman named Sally Chase from Pennsylvania. And he was concerned because his dad had his dad was talking to this woman every day, and he didn't know anything about her, and he got connected with this daughter because they had the same last name because this woman had married his dad. And that new family got suspicious, did the research, and then, found out her entire history. So it sounds like, she buried this one husband and then she moved on to somebody else. So I thought that story was really, really interesting. First of all, I hadn't even remembered that someone had tried to assassinate President Ford. And I often wonder, too, why these people are let out on parole. I mean, I would think that if you are going to try to assassinate a president, I think you're done. I think that that's someone that we should put away, just put away forever. And it sounds like not only was she a violent person in trying to assassinate President Ford, but it sounds like she's a con artist and a criminal and, is taking advantage of people. So I think the moral of the story is to really, really look into who you might hook up with romantically. And if your elderly parents are, if you lose one of them and they're lonely and they end up going on these dating sites or be spending a lot of time with someone, I think you have to be really, really careful about that and just watch their finances. You can go to an attorney. This is not the kind of work that I do, but you can go to an attorney and protect some of their assets. Not necessarily because you want to protect it so that you receive the assets, but more so that those assets are there when that parent needs it. Because if that parent ever gets sicker or needs treatment, that's why that person saved all of that money their whole life. So you don't want it taken by somebody else because I think there's people out there that prey on people and they prey on people's loneliness. So a lot of times it's up to the children, the nieces, the nephews to really just watch for that and make sure it doesn't happen. So we were going to start off with a guest tonight, but Justin, did we find the guest?
No, I'm currently in contact with Mr. Borowski to get to the bottom of it.
Because this was one that Borowski scheduled.
Yep.
Oh, so now we're mad at Dan?
Not mad at Dan per se,
I mean, he's home with his new baby enjoying the first Christmas.
Christmas was almost a week ago.
So you're thinking, hey, this is over. He was supposed to book this guest. Where is he? What's going on?
I gave him a call and it went to voicemail. So
the guest or Dan?
The guest.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean,
it's live radio. This stuff happens.
Yeah, no, I know it does. But I was wondering, there's a question I need to ask you that I don't understand, and you're going to think like I'm a total idiot. So can you help me with something?
What you got?
So this weekend, the Eagles are favored to win. And even though I'm good at math, one thing I never understood, and I kind of looked blankly at people, what does the spread mean? Because I think there's other people like me that don't understand the spread. So when I looked it up, the spread for the Eagles was -7.5.
So that means that they're favorited by 7 points against Washington.
So the people who do this think that they're going to win by 7 points?
If you think Washington is going to win, like the Washington spread should. So the spread's 7 points, right?
Yes, it was -7.5 or -8. It said.
Usually it's like a half. Usually they'll do like half, like 7.5. So if you think the game is going to be within 7.5 points, you take Washington and the spread. But if you think the Eagles are going to cover the points, you'll take the Eagles covering the spread by 7 or basically. It says the Eagles are going to win by 7.5 or more points.
So I could bet on the Commanders, who used to be the Redskins, right?
You can bet on the Redskins to be within 7 points, and you'd win that bet.
Gotcha. Are we supposed to call them the Redskins or the Commanders?
Technically, they're the Commanders, commies, whatever. They're the Redskins.
I was actually looking that up today, and I saw a lot of conflicting information about why they changed the name and why they're not going to change the name back. And obviously there's this whole group of people who say, oh, it was all wokeness and that's a pejorative statement about Native Americans. And then some people say, no, the Native Americans actually participated in having that name. So I think there's a lot of controversy over that name. But I don't know where they came up with Commanders. I think that's a terrible name.
Especially for a team that's based in Washington, D.C., that has a name that could be shortened to the Commies.
Right. Yeah. What is it supposed to be, Commander-in-Chief?
I don't even remember. They gave this. This is back when Dan Snyder owned the team, and Dan Snyder's a horrible, legendarily horrible owner of the Washington, formerly Redskins, but he had this long, like 30-minute presentation giving some BS reason as to how it relates to the Washington D.C. area and how the spirit of Maryland and Virginia combined together. He just wanted something better than the Washington football team, and I guess that's just the first thing whatever marketing department he paid came up with. He's like, yeah, fine with me.
I remember when they changed the name, and I never really thought about the word Redskins. And I think if I did think about it, I thought it was kind of referring to the football because the leather on the football is a little red. I mean, these people come up with these. They start shrieking about reasons that a name is offensive or is putting down a whole group of people, and I think that they're just really making a mountain out of a molehill. I did read though that one of the reasons that they are not going to change it back, because so many people now want it changed back, is because apparently the sponsors don't want to change back. The sponsors, the people who pay for the advertising that finances that league, I think that the sponsors would rather not have that name back. So it sounds like Commanders are here to stay. But the Eagles are favored. Justin, what does it mean? What's the money line mean? Eagles around 400 to 420, negative 400 to negative 420. Commanders around positive 310 to positive 330.
So basically, it's like 4-1 favorite. The Eagles are going to win 4 times out of 10. The Eagles are going to. It's this really long, like complicated math. It's just betting odds. Basically, how much your return's going to be if you bet $10 on them.
Got it. And then the over/under is 42.5 points. 42.5. So if you bet that, if you think this score added together is going to be
over 42.5,
okay,
you take the over. If you think it's under, you bet the under.
Yeah, well, if the Eagles can't complete a pass, I'm thinking under.
And the Redskins are running I think they're running their third string quarterback. I don't think Mariota's playing again this weekend. So
okay. Do they not think they're going to win? Is that why they're...
No, their third string quarterback is horrible. Bless his heart, but he's no Jaden Daniels and he's no Marcus Mariota.
I mean, he's a professional player though. He can't be horrible. He got to where he is.
You would be surprised. Like compared to you and me, he is an excellent player, mind you. He made it to the NFL, yeah, which is something not many people have done. But, and this is a very, very strong but, there is a difference between just barely getting in, like scraping by into the NFL and then being there as like a third string backup to being a everyday starter like a Jordan Davis or a Jalen Carter.
How much does a third string quarterback make? Do you know?
If I had to guess, I would say it'd probably be the league minimum, which is still like $1 million.
Well, yeah, but $1 million, you're giving a huge cut to your agent and probably a cut to, I mean, there's a lot of people with their hands out around those people.
And then you got to think about the taxes.
Yeah, and then, a regular person could make a certain amount of money over their lifetime, but these people are not going to have those jobs forever. So the key would be, if you're going to make that kind of money, to put 3/4 of it away and live on a much lower amount. To make it last, because especially if you're a third string quarterback, it's just not going to last that long. Your career probably won't last that long. But unfortunately, that's absolutely not what a lot of those people do, and then they end up with their lives aren't that great.
But luckily for him, he's been a pretty steady journeyman, kind of like emergency backup. He's made about, I think, including this year, he's made about $13 million in his career. So, for being that third string guy, that guy that's like, never really you're the scout team quarterback. Right. You're just kind of there at practice and you're sitting on the sideline just in case something happens. It's pretty decent little gig he's got.
And we can never forget the Eagles won the Super Bowl with the backup quarterback.
This is true. This is very true.
That's like the greatest story in history. I'll never forget where I was when I saw that game. I mean, that was just We can never forget that as Eagles fans.
No.
So you're already with your Eagles hat on over there.
Of course.
Yeah, yeah. Are you going to be wearing that through until Sunday, until they play?
No, I've got a couple other Eagles hats that I'll break out. I think I can't even put a quantitative number on how many Eagles hats. The Eagles and Phillies probably guaranteed take.
Oh yeah, did you see my my purse?
Oh yeah, the one with the Kelly green. Yeah. We're wearing the Kelly greens this weekend.
Oh, okay, good. I'll match. I do have a Phillies one too, so once the Eagles season is over, I'll swap over. I'll switch to my Phillies one, yeah. But I like to keep it till the very, very end. Like I'm a little superstitious, like all of the Eagles fans are, you know. Like I'm afraid if I put the purse away, then we're gonna lose, and this whole city will be very, very, very upset with me. So, this is Linda Kerns. You can catch me at Linda Kerns Law on Twitter, and we will be right back.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Mark?
I've been doing home remodeling for 30 plus years, but the economy crashed. I wound up losing my home, losing my job, and on top of that, owing the IRS a ton of money. I owed the IRS $114,000. It really, truly was the worst part of my life.
Then Mark found tax relief advocates.
On news radio, I heard about TRA, and I thought, what's the worst that could happen? So I picked up the phone and I called them. When it was all said and done, TRA settled my $114,000 debt for $100, and I'm telling you, I was ecstatic. Could not believe it. Would recommend TRA to anyone.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Mark did and call TRA for a consultation.
But TRA did. They gave me a second chance, and I'm forever grateful.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-491-9914. 800-491-9914. That's 800-491-9914.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hola, amigos! It's a big noise. Brad Evans from BetMGM tonight. Listen Monday through Friday starting at 6 p.m. Eastern on Westwood One Sports as we cover the biggest sports stories from coast to coast. Get insights on the NFL playoffs, college basketball conference races, and more. Download the Odyssey app now and listen from anywhere. BetMGM tonight, live and interactive, presented by BetMGM. Tune in, Team Huevos.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. If you or anyone in your family has been injured in a car accident, call us now, as the time to file a claim may be limited. Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before, protecting America, fighting for you. Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
If you're suffering from burning, tingling, or numb feet, you need to pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Thomas Oliver of Oliver Wellness Center. Doctor, what is neuropathy?
Peripheral neuropathy is actually nerve damage to the feet and legs.
And what are the symptoms?
The major symptoms are pain, numbness, tingling, burning, muscle cramps, coldness in the hands or feet, and problems with balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
It is absolutely treatable, and we can get great results.
Call 856-347-0032 today to schedule a nerve damage screening. Your nerve damage screening will tell you if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a candidate for our innovative treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe severe, there's nothing that can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, and even with amputations. Call 856-347-0032. The first 25 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Call 856-347-0032.
Don't miss the Education Show with Dom Giordano every Sunday morning at 5:30. Find out how you can help your child or grandchild succeed. Sponsored by New Hope Academy.
See Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra on Philly Sports Put to Music at the Broadway Theater in Pittman, New Jersey, February 21st. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. joeconklin.com!
Oh! At PGW, safety is essential to delivering clean, reliable natural gas to Philadelphia homes and businesses. If you smell gas, call PGW at 215-235-1212.
With holiday chaos around every corner, the minute you step into your BMW, you're in control. The BMW X3's adventure-ready agility is built for wherever the holidays take you. The effortless power of the X5 makes it easy to take on the season, and the iconic 3 Series is an exhilarating escape. The BMW Road Home Sales Event on now. BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Visit BMW of Westchester on Route 202 for a personalized test drive today.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
You can now tune in to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
And welcome back. This is Linda Kerns on 1210 WPHT, filling in for Jimmy Fallon, and I am all shook up for our next guest. My buddy, I call him my election law soulmate because we've worked together on many elections, but he's not on to talk about elections tonight. He is a mummer, and he's on to talk about that. Joe DeFelice, are you on?
Lynn, I'm on.
How are you, Joe?
Wonderful. How you doing?
I'm doing good. So you have one more day until the 125th Mummers Parade. Tell us about it.
Yeah, one more day. This is so I didn't grow up. I really didn't grow up much in the Mummers. My grandmom and my mom and my aunts and all, they all watch. But we're from Port Richmond. I mean, it really is really deep in South Philly, right? So my family's originally from Port Richmond. I grew up in Mayfair, but in Port Richmond, they had some Furco. They had Greater Kensington. They had Polish Americans. So we were kind of really more of a string band family. If anything, my wife was from Kensington, so her family kind of grew up with the string bands as well. But it wasn't until my 20s that I really, really got to experience the parade, and I've been in it ever since. So I think my first parade was 2005. So this is my 22nd year marching, and it's my son's 11th year marching. So my other son did it for a year and he absolutely hated it. So I mean, we can go back in time, but I mean, it was one of those things, Linda. It was, I knew it was a Philly institution. It was something that I was always kind of intrigued by, but not really growing up in it, like the people down on 2nd Street. It wasn't until I really got down to 2nd Street, and once I kind of felt that, I had friends of mine that were in Froggy Car. They said, "You want to come out next year?" And I was, "Nah, I'm not," because I felt a little awkward, right, not being from down there.
Right.
And then the next year I came out, but it was, my wife, Rose, started teaching at Maria Goretti in 1999. And, that's all South Philly. And then, 2 years later, she ended up at Philadelphia Electrical and Technology Charter High School, which is a lot of South Philly people as well. So got to meet a lot of her friends. And then years working down the shore, I used to bounce at Jimmy's in North Wildwood. And a lot of the guys I worked with down there were, some of them were string bands, some of them were Fralinger, some of them were Quaker City, but most of them were in the Jokers, in the Fancy Brigades. So I kind of was always around it, but it wasn't until, I started dating my wife and eventually got engaged and started going down to 2nd Street with a lot of her friends that I really kind of got pulled in. And like I said, I've been with Froggy Carr now for it's my 22nd year, and it's my son's 11th year. So
I looked up Froggy Carr. He was named after an actual guy. He was a football player, and he died, or he died playing football.
James Froggy Carr, 50 years ago. And a good friend of mine, Reese Hardy, who I got to know through the Mayfair Civic Association, Mayfair CBC, was originally from down there. He's one of the original members. So it was, he kind of told me the story years ago, and it was a bunch of buddies, a bunch of South Philly guys that got together and, started a brigade, for their friend to honor them. And, there's been other brigades that have started, like Joey Hallett Jr. Saints, and, a lot of other ones started just like that. A bunch of guys got together and, they made a march with somebody else, and they say, hey, let's start our own. And that's how Froggy Carr came about. And, I have, family members, my cousin's husband, Joey Rullo, has been marching for years. Matty Pooler, who really got me involved, works with my wife. He's the principal. My wife's the vice principal at the high school. I've been now they started at Philadelphia E&T like 24 years ago, and Matty was the one that, got me my first suit, and I really haven't looked back.
So, Justin, we have some pictures you can put up on the YouTube chat of Joe and his son. And this is your son's favorite day of the year, right?
By all means. So my son, Joe, he's 18 years old. He's pretty much nonverbal autistic. And my wife would bring him and my other son, Christian, down to watch me. I mean, I started, they weren't even born yet. But a couple years into it. So they were kind of born into it, right? They got used to going down there, seeing me. At the time, it was kind of march up Broad Street. And then finally, when I got Joey and Christian involved, was when they reversed the course going down Broad Street, starting at City Hall. But it is by far his favorite day of the year. He doesn't say a ton, but, our mantra is who dat Froggy Carr. And I play that. I say that to him, and he answers. And we play, he watches a lot of YouTube videos. It's just essentially a lot of just Froggy Carr videos. It is by far his favorite day. Think about it. Kid with autism, right? Like, he gets out there. It's the Mummers Parade is essentially kind of organized chaos. And, let me step back. The Wench Brigades, that's what we are part of. We're the mostly loosely organized. There's no real practice involved. We're one day a year mummers, and we don't hold a candle to the string bands and the fancy brigades and the fancies and some of the comics. Like, they're going to start planning for next year on Friday.
And when do you guys plan?
I plan today when I spray painted my shoes gold. And then I'll put them. What's that?
Is it the same outfit every year, or do you guys at least get new outfits?
No, we have a different theme. I think we were like Rocky 2 years ago. This year we're Nightmare on Broad Street. We're a Freddy Krueger theme.
Oh, wow.
But literally we have our bloomers, our suits, which you would know as the dresses, our sneakers or boots that are painted with gold spray paint, normally some kind of hat that references whatever our theme is, but I normally wear my frog hat because I'm in Froggy. I've been wearing that same hat for 22 years. Joey's been wearing that same hat for 11 years. We get beads, a couple beers, not for him, but for me. And we go out and we do our thing. But for us, there really is no preparation, which is, we pay our money, we get our suits, we have a brass band that goes along with us, which is different, right? Philadelphia Mummers are known for the string bands. Mardi Gras is known for kind of the brass bands. But it's really just when you can get out on the Broad Street, and it's going to be a little chillier this year. We've got some good weather lately.
Are you going to be wearing long underwear underneath that costume?
Yeah, we both have Under Armour. We have Under Armour. We'll have, sweatshirts. We'll have gloves. We have hand warmers. We have foot warmers. We'll be good to go. But it's, years when I first started, I would get down to the club, which is Froggy Carr. It's on 2nd Street. We would get down there at like 6 o'clock in the morning. And then we would go and serenade, members that had passed. So guys that had passed that year, we'd go to their house and, sing and have a toast, and we play music out front of their house.
Oh, my God. The
and
family must love that.
They totally love
Yeah.
it. Anywhere else in the world, they would hate it. People coming to their house at 6 o'clock on New Year's Day, right? But, New Year's Eve isn't so much a thing in South Philly. It's New Year's Day.
Right.
So, and then we would march all the way up to Snyder. We'd get second in Snyder. We'd walk all the way up to Broad Street. Then we would march up Broad Street, and then we would wind our way back through Center City, then down, and then do another parade, in South Philly when it starts getting dark, down 2nd Street. And, I hate saying this because I don't want to overcrowd 2nd Street, but, I mean, the 2nd Street portion of the parade is by far the best. I mean, it's literally it's a cold Mardi Gras, right? And to be honest with you, it's gotten a little taken over lately by, people not from there. I was one of those people, right, coming down there, but it's really amazing. However, though, once Joey got involved in the parade, I kind of shortened it because I know that he only has so much tolerance. So we'd kind of meet up with the guys, later, as they get closer to City Hall before we march down, and then, we normally head home, once we're done. But still, it's still a 3-4 hour day for us. By the time, we meet up with the guys. By the time we march down, by the time we walk back up Broad Street, we get to see a lot of our friends are in some of the comics and, the fancies, and then the string bands are starting, and then we'll head home. But I'll tell you, Lynn, it is his favorite day of the year. And I get back to it's organized chaos, right? I mean, it's music, it's colors, it's just being able to run down the middle of Broad Street, right? I mean, and it's you have the stands of people, and you're sprinting towards City Hall. You're around City Hall. You're coming down Broad Street. You go in front of the Union League, which is really kind of funny, right? Because my background, right, being an attorney, being involved in politics, spent a lot of days in the Union League. But it's kind of this juxtaposition of the Union League and the working class kind of merging, and it's great. Seeing the mummers go up the steps of the Union League, and everyone's out front in their tuxedos, and the working class guys. A lot of these guys, they're longshoremen, they're electricians, they're plumbers. But you know what? There's lawyers, there's doctors. I mean, there's mayors. Even Mayor Kenny was a member of the Jokers for a number of years. So it's really a way to kind of mess a lot of Philadelphia culture. But again, I don't ever want to take anything away from the guys and girls that are out there doing it all year long, planning and marching and raising money and the clubs. I mean, it's really, but to be honest with you, for me and my son, it is the perfect day. It doesn't matter if it's 16 degrees like it was back in 2018 or 72 degrees like it was back in 2013, 2014. We're going no matter what. And the only time you don't go is if it's too windy or it rains. I think in the years I've been doing it, it's only been pushed back twice, and they push it to the next Saturday, and it just never has the same feel. So I always, if it was up to me, and it's not because no one cares what I have to say, let's get out there on New Year's Day and ring in the new year.
I love that Joey tolerates it because normally he doesn't like the loud noises and all that stimulation. So the fact that he can just really just lean into this is just such an amazing day for him.
It is I tell you, the smile, when we get out there, I mean, I think he probably wonders, because he doesn't say a whole lot, he probably wonders, why don't we do this every day, right? This is one day a year, and we get out there, but it's muscle memory. He knows certain dances, knows certain words, right? Our Froggy Car song is essentially the Mickey Mouse song, MICKEYMOUSA FROGGYCARR Froggy Car. And he sings along with that. As you know, Lynn, he has limited, verbal ability, but he sings along with that to the best that he can. And, who dat, Froggy Car. And he really gets into it. And, a lot of times mummers get a bad name, but, the amount of philanthropy these guys do and the joy on the faces of the tourists and the city residents and the kids that are sitting there, that are along the parade route every day. If you see my son's face, you've seen it on the pictures.
Yeah, we put the pictures up on YouTube.
It's always a smile from ear to ear. And I love it. And as long as he's around, as long as I'm around, we're going to continue to do this. And his therapist, Connor's kind of comes in a couple hours a week and helps with Joey. And he now has come out with us. This is his second year.
Oh, that's great, Joe.
This is his second, and he's off the clock. He just does it because he wants to. I mean, but he does it because he wants to. And Connor grew up in Croydon, and this was foreign to him. And I had friends come out for years. My buddy Kevin, my buddy John, like some of them will come and go. My buddy Eric, my buddy Jerry. But, people move on. They have kids. They have lives. And they're like,
But
for me,
we can always count on Joe DeFelice and Joey. Well, Joe, we are going to be looking for you, and our own Dawn Stenslin is hosting that parade. So I'm going to text her and tell her to look for you in Froggy Car.
There's only 1,000 of us, and we're all wearing green. So, but I'll definitely try to find her.
Absolutely. Well, have a very happy New Year. Have an awesome time, and a happy New Year to you and the entire family, and especially to Joey.
Thank you, Linda. Have a happy New Year as well, and who dat Froggy Car.
Bye, Joe. And this is Linda Kerns on 1210 WPHT, and we will be right back.
Hey, ladies, it's Rich Zioli, and if you're going to set one New Year's resolution in 2026, it should be to protect yourself and your family. And my friends at Bob's Little Sport Shop are here to help you achieve that goal. Bob's doesn't just sell firearms, they're a full-service shop with years of experience helping people like you and me become safe, responsible gun owners. Now, ladies, I'm talking to you. Kick off 2026. Make the commitment to attend Bob's Women's Only Shoot March 1st at 1 p.m. The event is for women only, with women instructors who are NRA and range safety certified. Bob's is the only range in the area who have all women instructors at their women shoot. You don't need a firearms ID card. No prior experience is required to attend. Register now for Bob's Women's Only Shoot March 1st. Space is limited. Visit bobslittlesport.shop.com. bobslittlesport.shop.com, my go-to place for all things Second Amendment, ladies. This ad sponsored by Bob's Little Sport Shop.
If you're one of the millions of Americans behind on your taxes, if you're afraid to open your mail because IRS collection letters could be coming, listen carefully. The IRS is cracking down, taking paychecks, freezing bank accounts, revoking passports. That's a fact. But here's what most people don't know. There are official tax relief programs designed to help struggling taxpayers. Programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Optima's award-winning team will fight to protect your paycheck, your passport, and your property. Their tax attorneys and licensed tax professionals will work tirelessly to get you the best deal possible with the IRS. Every day, penalties and interest keep piling up, so don't wait. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hey, this is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. I've been talking about myself for all these years. Now it's time for you to hear from one of our great clients.
Investor Schooling lives up to the promises. Larry's a great teacher, teaches about the whole new approach to thinking about money. I've taken to heart many of the things that he's taught me, and my financial life has improved.
Come to Investor Schooling, and you could be just like Charlie and change your financial life. Go to investorschooling.com. We will see you Thursday.
Gold is now over $4,500 an ounce. Did you get some jewelry as a gift that you don't like? Need cash to help pay holiday bills? Go to the Estates Roadshow Monday through Wednesday and get cash in your hands. Gold and silver, old rings, chains, and even broken jewelry. Don't wait. Cash in while gold is hot by going to the Estates Roadshow this Monday through Wednesday in Chestnut Hill at the Chestnut Hill Hotel or in Cherry Hill at TMT Cash for Gold. For more info, visit estatesroadshow.com.
We gathered real Pennsylvania seniors and asked them how they would benefit from an extra $1,000. Here's what they had to say.
Everything is so expensive these days.
Car expenses, repairs.
My groceries, heating costs.
Medications. Sure, I could easily spend $1,000 like that.
Through Pennsylvania's property tax rent rebate program, eligible seniors and adults with disabilities could receive up to $1,000. Check your eligibility and apply online. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
So let's start with that and all the snow totals that really are centered around central New York, right around that Syracuse area, upwards of 22.5 inches just in the last 24 hours.
The U.S. government says ICE does not plan to detain Kilmar Abrego Garcia again as long as a judge's order banning it stands. Also today, a court order unsealed suggests that the Trump administration pushed to prosecute Abrego Garcia on smuggling charges only after he challenged his wrongful deportation to El Salvador. Loyola Law School professor Lori Levinson.
This type of action and decision-making by the prosecution not only undercuts their credibility before the court, but raises major questions as to what the government is trying to achieve by criminally prosecuting Garcia.
Search and rescue crews may have to wait for some time until they can reach the bodies of 3 hikers who died along the upper reaches of Mount Baldy, northeast of Los Angeles. KNX's Pete Demetrio.
The bodies of a 19-year-old man and 2 others were found below what is called the Devil's Backbone near the 10,000-foot peak of Mount Baldy. San Bernardino Sheriff spokesperson Jenny Smith talked about that area.
Not carved out in a way that a regular hiker could hike that and be safe.
Due to high winds, they weren't able to extract the bodies. That operation may have to wait until the winds die down, but officials will be racing the clock because another storm system is due to hit the area on Wednesday. Pete Demetrio for CBS News, San Bernardino, California.
Israel says starting this Thursday, it will not allow dozens of humanitarian groups to work inside the Gaza Strip because it says they haven't complied with new vetting procedures. CBS's Courtney Keeley.
Israel says, look, we don't want any Hamas's influence, and we don't want anyone that's coming in, whether an international organizer or a Palestinian staffer.
This is CBS News.
Brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Not only does Progressive let you bundle your insurance, they also give you round-the-clock protection. Quote today at Progressive.com.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
The American Kennel Club roster of recognized breeds grows to 208 after the addition of 3 breeds.
One of the newcomers is the Teddy Roosevelt Terrier, named for the former president. It's a solid, energetic, small canine that will rid your barn of rodents and alert you to strangers. Another is the Zvitnaya Bolonka, a toy dog from Cold War-era Russia, a sweet but clever little companion that wants playful interaction. The third is the Basset Fauve de Bretagne, a hardy, sociable French compact hound that can hunt all day. Being placed on the AKC's roster makes the dogs eligible for many dog shows in the U.S. and increases their visibility to the public. Christopher Cruz, CBS News.
Stocks fell slightly on Wall Street as trading for 2025 nudges closer to the finish line, even with 3 straight days of small losses. The S&P 500 is on track for an annual gain of more than 17%. Gold, silver, and copper all resumed their climb after steep declines a day earlier. Jennifer Kuiper, CBS News.
Between all the holiday parties,
weekend tailgates,
and family get-togethers,
we've been overindulging a little more than usual over the holidays. But now, we are starting the new year off on a healthier note by taking Active Liver supplements from New Nordic every day.
Active Liver contains a powerful blend of turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke extract. All natural ingredients that help protect the liver so that it can protect you from toxins. It's like giving my body a daily detox. I've never felt better, and my energy is through the roof.
And my doctor is already impressed with how much better my numbers are looking. So if better health, more energy, and detoxing your body are some of your priorities this year, get Active Liver today and start the year off knowing you're giving your liver some well-deserved relief.
Active Liver is available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com. Or pick some up today at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery. Are now available at Wegmans. New year, new you, new Nordic.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL WPHT HD3 Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. Live and local with Linda Kerns. On Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
And welcome back. This is Linda Kerns sitting in for Jimmy Fallon, and apparently I'm competing with our own Rich Zioli, who sat in for Jimmy Fallon earlier today. So I'm sure I'm going to hear about that from Rich. But I'm really excited to welcome our next guest. Just when you thought you knew everything about how cell phones are kind of destroying us, I read an article in the Wall Street Journal about how it's contributing to the really downfall of children's eyesight. So I'd like to welcome our next guest from the Wall Street Journal, Alicia Finlay. Or Finley. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yes, it's Alicia Finley.
Alicia Finley. Well, welcome. Thank you so much for coming on. I read your article, Smartphones and the Childhood Epidemic of Myopia, and I thought it was just fascinating, and I'd like to tell our listeners about it.
Well, ophthalmologists are starting to raise alarms because they've seen a surge of children presenting with nearsightedness or myopia. And that's usually caused by the eyeball growing longer from front to back. Now, there are a variety of things that can cause it or make it more likely or make kids at higher risk, and genetics is a big factor. But a couple of others are spending more time when you're focusing on things up close, like whether you're reading a book, watching a YouTube video, or playing video games on a tablet. That significantly increases the risk. On the other hand, there are some preventative measures or things that actually slow the growth or the elongation of the eyeball. And that's spending time outdoors. Because when you're outdoors or when kids are outdoors, the natural sunlight UV rays actually stimulate a release of dopamine in the eye, which actually slows the lengthening. So in recent years, and especially during the COVID lockdowns, kids were spending much more time indoors, watching or maybe doing lessons on Zoom, rather than being in classrooms, not spending much time outdoors in recess and such. And as a result, many more kids in that really kind of window when they're more likely to develop myopia between the ages of 3 and 10, many more are now starting to develop eye problems. And I mentioned eye problems, and that's more broadly because when a kid or a child develops myopia, that also puts them at higher risk, including in adolescence and young adulthood, for developing more severe eye problems. And that could include even cataracts, retinal detachment, and some disorders that you would commonly more associate with older adults.
Do the pediatricians know to screen for this? Because when you're having trouble seeing, sometimes a kid might not even realize it. So do the pediatricians know to screen for this?
No, and I think that for the most part, it's not. Sometimes in schools, what usually happens is a teacher will notice that a kid is having difficulty seeing things on, a whiteboard or a chalkboard. They don't really use those as much anymore. And so it really does fly under the radar oftentimes if they're not doing vision tests. I know when I was in elementary school, we actually did have vision tests, but many schools don't. So many kids aren't getting diagnosed until later, and that's unfortunate because there are some kind of interventions. I mentioned spending more time outdoors, not or reducing the amount of time you focus up close on things. Or even there's an experimental, I won't even call it experimental, but there are these eye drops I mentioned in my piece, low-dose atropine, that can slow the progression of myopia. But really early intervention is very important.
Right. So when moms say go out and play, they're not just trying to get the kids just out of their hair. It's really, there's a health reason to say go outside and play.
Yeah, there are so many benefits from being outdoors and play. And I could go into there are also there have been a lot of studies that have found Association on Mental Health.
Right.
And inversely with screen time and positive with just being outdoors. And just on the side, sunlight also does stimulate positive neurotransmitters that help regulate mood and all that. Being outdoors, running around, playing, that's good for your physical health. There are a lot of benefits with being outdoors. The problem is nowadays it just seems that all the cultural, social forces are pushing kids to just be on their phones and such.
Yeah, I know. It's such a shame. Well, I love the Wall Street Journal. I read it every day. I used to actually get it delivered, but that's not as practical anymore. I do miss holding the newspaper. But about a week ago, you had another really great article. The title was, "Does MAHA stand for Make America High Again?" You wrote about marijuana. And the thing with me and that I think about marijuana is when I compare it to alcohol has certain social taboos. You don't get up in the morning and you shouldn't have alcohol with breakfast. You don't have alcohol at lunch if you're working. Not to have alcohol before you're getting behind the wheel of a car. Those social taboos, I think, are strong and can protect most people. Obviously, if you have a problem, you're drinking all the time, but most people don't. Whereas marijuana doesn't have those social taboos, and people wake up and smoke and don't think a thing about getting in the car and driving their kids. So, I think about that a lot when marijuana just seems to become mainstream.
Right, and there are actually now more Americans overall who use marijuana every day than use alcohol every day, and that's in part because marijuana can be very addictive, especially at today's higher potencies. The potency of marijuana today is about 4 to 5 times what it was in the 90s, probably around 8 or 9 times what it was, in the days of Woodstock. And so a lot of the older generations who kind of sometimes kind of poo-poo or say, oh, well, I smoked weed and I'm fine and nothing, but I don't think they realize or appreciate that today's weed isn't what it used or isn't quite, I don't think it was ever innocuous, but is much more harmful and damaging to the brain, especially at higher potencies and in more common or constancy that, people use it. And you mentioned in the mornings, and in New York, you go outside in the morning in a park and you can smell skunk weed everywhere.
Oh, please. I'm here in Philly and I can smell it when I'm out on the streets. It's ridiculous. I hate it. I hate that smell. It's horrible.
Yeah. And I don't think people realize, there was when you mentioned a taboo and stigma, that's kind of what helped reverse, there's toward tobacco and cigarette smoking. Right. But it seems to be that there's much more of a stigma attached to cigarette smoking among young people than there is around marijuana smoking. And I think part of it is because the politicians, treat it as, oh, it's cool, this is just young people, and being young people, and it's, you're just being mellow, and there aren't any, they don't recognize or they don't publicize the harms of marijuana, both social, cultural, public health. And I think the Trump administration, as well as other, governors around the country, could really do a public service by broadcasting more about the harms and damage of the drug and reattaching a stigma to it.
Yeah, and with this push for medical marijuana, which I do understand, I understand that there's people suffering, there's cancer patients, that you're in pain, and sometimes marijuana may be the only thing that gives you relief, and I totally get that. What I don't understand is if we're going to treat marijuana as a drug that's going to help sick people, why is it not treated like every other drug so that you get a prescription for it and you get it at a pharmacy? Why do you have to get this special card and then you can go to these dispensaries and it's not that hard to get the card? And so you're really getting this drug without a lot of physician oversight like you would be if you were taking another type of drug where a physician is examining you, and then when he or she needs to rewrite the prescription, hopefully he examines you again. So I really think these medical marijuana cards, I'm not sure how that came about. I don't think it's the best way for us to make marijuana available.
Right. I think it's a bit of a farce. And actually, there was a study in the Journal of the American Medical Association a couple of weeks ago that found it's kind of like a secret shopper operation. But researchers called up a bunch of medical marijuana dispensaries and claimed to be, pregnant. And they asked, well, is it safe to consume marijuana cannabis products while I'm pregnant? And of course, the answer is no. It's actually probably worse than alcohol. It has all kinds of damaging effects to fetus, and it can cause premature delivery and all of that. But 40% of them said, oh, yeah, it's cool. There's no problem because they're retailers. They're not doctors. And they have a perverse incentive to tell or to downplay the risks. And whereas physicians, I think, look at things and treat patients, from an objective standpoint for the most part, and are much more aware of the risks and potential benefits. And I think one thing with marijuana products is they still need to prove the potential benefits.
Right.
They say like, oh, it will it reduces chronic pain, all that, but they've never gone through these large-scale randomized controlled trials that are required to get any kind of drug approved. So if a company wants to do that, okay, go for it. Let's see the evidence. But until then, I'm a little skeptical.
Well, I love this line in your piece. You wrote, Vice President J.D. Vance has blamed declining fertility and marriage rates on, quote, cat ladies, women who choose the single life. Maybe they don't want to be a caretaker of a man-child who uses pot to check out of work in the world. And I thought that was a great line. And I think that that's so true. I think that there's a lot of really successful women. And then you look around and, why hook up with and be responsible for someone who wants to get high every day?
Right. And anecdotally, I know of a couple of women who were in relationships, and that was a problem with the guys that they were dating. And so when you have something like a quarter of 30-something-year-olds men using marijuana on a regular basis, that's going to be a big barrier to, developing real, romantic relationships and emotional intimacy, because it does cause people just to check out. And on top of that, it makes them less motivated to work or for that matter, do chores around the house.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, if you're sitting on the couch smoking pot, you're not really participating in your relationship. Well, where can the readers find you? Do you have social media that they can follow what you're writing?
I am not, to be honest, I'm not active on social media. The Wall Street Journal, our Wall Street Journal opinion feed is on both X.com and on Facebook, and does post my things on their page.
Okay. Well, so I'm really going to recommend you to the readers, and I'm going to continue to follow what you're writing because I just found these two articles really fascinating. Are you working on anything now?
I am working on an unsigned editorial right now on Minnesota's and not just Minnesota welfare fraud, but all the different kind of welfare programs that people can take advantage of.
Oh, I cannot wait to read that, because my theory is when the government starts giving out gobs of money, there are people just stampeding to take advantage of that. And anyone who thinks that, there's not going to be fraud and corruption, I think you're just fooling yourself.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly the point. It's like Minnesota state government website almost reads like an internet scam because it advertises so many, handouts. So that's exactly my point here.
I mean, we saw that during COVID when they were giving out those grants and those loans and so forth. I mean, people were making up companies and just applying for all that government money, and it was just, it was just spreading out all over. And then who ultimately holds the bag is the taxpayers. So I can't wait to read that. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and I hope you have a very happy New Year.
Thanks, you too.
And this is Linda Kerns on 1210 WPHT. If you'd like to call in, Call us at 855-839-1210. I really loved talking to her about both of those topics. I've never even tried marijuana. I've never tried a gummy. I've never tried smoke. I've never tried. I mean, the closest I've gotten is if I was in a room and someone was smoking it. Never just never wanted to try it.
Fair enough. I mean, it's not for everybody.
And I represent that singer G Love, and he not only does he smoke marijuana, but he has a whole song called "Who's Got the Weed." Like his songs basically are about women, weed. Yeah, that's basically what he writes the songs about. And he always says, you got to try it. You got to try it. And he kind of gave up because I think the smell too just really turns me off. And I don't like anything with smoke either. So I don't know, nothing about it.
No, it's fair. Like I said, it's definitely not for everybody. There's certain people where it's just like, I don't know if you're the type to get anxious. Sometimes it'll exacerbate things like that.
Well, I think if you are the type to get anxious or upset or depressed, if you start using marijuana to try to soothe yourself, you are making things 10 times worse. It might give you a little bit of relief right then and there, but...
To be fair, it's probably better for you than an SSRI is in the long run.
True. I mean, I do think sometimes we end up over-medicated. Now, there's some people I think who need medication, especially if you're going through something. You could have an acute problem. You need to kind of get over that. Or sometimes people's chemistry is all out of whack, and they do need those medicines to kind of get them back into society and better able to function. I do know in my practice, I do a lot of family laws, so a lot of divorces, child custody, that type of thing. And so a lot of my clients obviously report to me that they're on those types of medicines. And one of the things I always ask them is, okay, so who prescribed that? And you'd be really surprised how many people say, oh, my family physician prescribed it, which means that they're getting that type of medicine, something to treat anxiety, depression, whatever the mental problem is, but they're not seeing a therapist or being monitored by a psychiatrist. And I think that that's a problem.
I didn't even know a family physician could prescribe that. I thought it was only a psychiatrist or a therapist.
And I just don't think that's responsible. Because once you start those medicines, the other thing is they're not cure-alls. I mean, I just know this from my practice. If you do go on those medicines, sometimes it takes a lot of trial and error before you get the right dosage. And then there can be side effects, and the side effects can be worse. That's why it's really tough in children too. Children who have those types of problems, it's very hard to get them to stick to the medicine because they don't like the side effects, and then just the trial and error with the doses, it can be really tough. But you're probably right that just taking a little bit of marijuana might be better than those medicines. But then if marijuana becomes a crutch and you're smoking when you get up and you're smoking at lunchtime.
Oh yeah, there's always like, it's definitely a moderation thing. Like it is with most things in the world. Like everything can be good in the correct moderation.
And I won't, in my practice too, I'll often, if drugs are a problem, alcohol's a problem, and then the other spouse, the other parent is suspicious, we can send people for tests. And obviously a urine test that's only going to last over the last day or so. But there are hair tests, and you can test someone's hair and find out, what they did in the last 6 months or so. And sometimes I have guys come in and they shave their heads because they think, oh, hey, I shaved my head. You can't tell what I did, but there's hairs on other parts of your body, so you really can't fool those tests. So that's definitely not foolproof. Well, I really, really enjoyed those two interviews. Coming up, I have another great essayist who wrote about what happened when her students gave up their cell phones for 4 weeks. So I can't wait to talk to her. This is Linda Kerns on 1210 WPHT, and we will be right back.
At Riverwinds Restaurant, every table comes with a view. Overlooking the Philadelphia skyline and the Delaware River, it's the perfect backdrop for a date night, family celebrations, or just a night out with friends. Savor fresh seafood, sizzling steaks, handcrafted cocktails, and desserts worth lingering over. When the food is unforgettable and the view is unbeatable, you're at Riverwinds in West Deptford. Make your reservation today. Call 856-579-7900. 856-579-7900.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Imagine actually feeling merry, bright, and genuinely healthy this holiday season. With Rescue, that feeling starts now. Going on today, the Deck the Hall sale lets you save up to 78% off on high-quality, research-backed natural supplements so you can feel your best. Enjoy every festive moment. Formulas are crafted with purity, potency, and real science behind every capsule. That's why customers rely on Rescue for their essentials. Powerful omega-3s, doctor-recommended cholesterol support, gentle but effective pain relief, advanced probiotic blends, and natural age-defying formulas that help you stay vibrant from the inside out. This season, give yourself the gift of feeling good. Stock up, save big, and step into the holidays with the confidence that comes from supplements made with integrity and backed by decades of results. Ordering is easy. Just go to res-q.com or call a Rescue product consultant 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483, online at res-q.com for up to 78% off this holiday season.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 1039 FM.
ACT Philly rescues 9 Yorkshire Terriers in North Philly after their owner dies. A wallaby escapes his enclosure at a Gloucester County animal sanctuary. Philly International hopes the influx of tourists coming into the city in 2026 enjoy airport facility upgrades.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-823-5544. That's 800-823-5544. 800-823-5544.
Every man should have their health optimized. Forte Men's Health offers a unique approach, providing individualized solutions that address a wide range of critical issues. Dr. Michael Atanasio supports you with cardiovascular disease prevention, improvement in erectile dysfunction, testosterone replacement and enhancement, nutrition counseling, and weight control, all in one place. Reduce the need for multiple specialists. Visit ForteMen'sHealth.com and make an appointment today for personalized health care. ForteMen'sHealth.com. With one doctor, one location for life. ForteMen'sHealth.com.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, he wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Keeping free speech alive. Odyssey's #1 talk station. Talk Radio 1210. WPHT. WPHT.
And welcome back. This is Linda Kerns on 1210 WPHT coming at you live and local from a very chilly Philadelphia. It is 30 degrees out. I don't think it's going to warm up for those mummers, so I hope they're getting all ready. They're getting their long underwear out, their warm hats, their warm gloves, because it's going to be a very chilly New Year's here in Philadelphia. My next guest, Colleen Kinder, wrote this amazing essay that I found in the New York Times, and the title of the essay is "What Happened When My Yale Students Gave Up Their Phones for 4 Weeks?" And it was fascinating that she did this with her students and the benefits that happened. So I would now like to welcome Colleen Kinder. Colleen, are you there?
Yes, thanks so much for having me.
Colleen, I loved this article because I'm an attorney. I'm not actually a radio host. I'm doing a guest host. So, but I find myself so many times as an attorney, I'm supposed to be working. I'm sitting at my desk. I'm supposed to be writing a brief or writing a letter, doing all that useless stuff attorneys do. And I grab for my phone and then 5 minutes later, I'm still looking at something really stupid, whether it's Instagram or Twitter or just some random thing on my phone. So your article really spoke to me. So can you tell us about it?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I relate so much. That happens to me all the time. And it's really humbling and maddening that it's so hard to use a phone without getting very confused about where to put your attention. So I think part of the reason I wanted to do this with young students is because I am in my 40s and I still find it incredibly challenging personally. And the course I teach requires the students to do a tremendous amount of writing and specifically place writing. So they need to be very attentive to their environment in order to describe it well. And I began doing this because I wanted to kind of dominate all their attention and make sure that all of their attention was going towards this task so that they could advance very quickly and write beautifully. And the results were really remarkable. Every year, the results have been remarkable. But this past year, I noticed for the first time that my students across the board were really hungering to be done with their phones. I didn't have to convince anyone to turn in their phone. They basically threw them at me and said, okay, hide that for a month.
Right. So this is a 4-week course where they don't get them back at night either. Like they give you their phones to you. And there's one part in your article where you said what happened at night, whereas usually if you gave them back their phones, they'd all be quick looking at it. And by the way, I have a niece and I'm constantly asking her, did the president appoint you as Secretary of State? Because she's on that phone so much. I'm thinking, is she negotiating world peace? Like, what is going on that phone that she's constantly looking at it? But this part of your article says that at night the students played ping pong, knitting, charades, climbing hay bales, letter writing, stargazing, sitting through two-hour dinners with nary a device on the table. Between bursts of writing, my students actually rested. That is absolutely amazing. How did the students feel about it?
Oh, they loved it. They absolutely loved it. I mean, they played so hard. They worked so hard, but they also played so hard. And a number of them said that they felt like their social skills flourished. They kind of, if there was an awkward moment, they couldn't just put their head down in their phones. They had to find a way through it, which for their generation is actually quite rare. And they knew it. And so I think they really appreciate it. I mean, a lot of these students were in high school during COVID and have just had so much time online. So they loved their in real life experiences. And a number of them were not looking forward to having their phones back and kind of having the barrage of dilemmas and distractions that come with that. But I would say they absolutely flourished as a community and as new friends. None of them, with one exception, none of them knew each other before arriving in France. And after a month, they had this whole kind of lexicon of of inside jokes and kind of a shared language because they just spent so much time together.
You know, I've never heard that point before, that a child or an adult too can use a phone in a social situation rather than just talk to the person next to you. I mean, now that you say it, I definitely do that. I could be in a group of people and you don't want to talk or you want to get out of an awkward situation. You look down at your phone and you act like you're doing something important. That is an excellent point.
You know, Linda, I first noticed that a few years ago when I taught my first post-COVID cohort. I had a baby during COVID, so I missed a couple of years of teaching, but then I picked things up in 2023. And there were a couple moments with my students, and mind you, they didn't have phones on them, when we would be sitting together and there would be kind of an awkward pause and nobody would fill it. And I finally commented on it because I found it really curious. And finally, somebody explained it to me. They said, usually we would just look at our phones. Like, we're not good at filling awkward silences, which I found fascinating.
The one thing I didn't like about your article is you said that when they would go around the town, you were in France, and you gave them paper maps. Now, I get lost walking down the street, so I do need the app on the phone. So I wouldn't be able. That's the one thing I would say. Look, if you give me a paper map, you're never going to see me again. But
you would find a workaround. You'd find a workaround because the place I did that was Bordeaux, and Bordeaux is actually, it's all oriented along a river and a boardwalk. So if you're bad with directions, you just stay near the river. And you can't get lost.
You know, come to think of it, when I was younger, in my 20s and 30s, it was well before cell phones. And we would go through Europe, and I remember having the paper maps and then standing in the middle of a street and putting that big map out and then kind of turning around to try to figure out where you were. And of course, everyone knew you were a tourist because you had the map out. But you know, now that you think about it, that was like a cool experience that the kids don't have now because they're looking at their phones to get around the town. And if you're looking at your phone, you're not looking at the landmarks, because when you look at the map, then you have to look out at the street signs and figure out where you are. So wow, that's even a great experience too.
For sure. And, you know, I just caught up with one of my alums, somebody who took the course in July. And, you know, he was initially saying, oh, well, for his job as the editor of the local student paper, he's had to be back on his phone a lot, and that's a shame. But he said, you know what? I recently went to New York City, a city that I don't know well, and I purposely put my phone away and did not, I looked at a map in advance and figured out where I was going to go, but then I just found my way there without taking out my phone. And he said that's something I never would have done if I hadn't kind of developed that muscle and confidence. And that was like music to my ears. I loved hearing that.
Right, because he had to look around and look at his landmarks and just be really present in just walking around New York. This is just such an awesome idea. So can we ever do this? Can we ever take away phones for all of high school or all of college?
Linda, I think we have to. I know it sounds extreme, but I really think that these learning conditions are so degraded now that the best thing we could possibly do for students is really give them a chance to be alone with their minds and to kind of encounter their own powers. I don't have any magic solutions, but I think we need to think boldly. Like, for example, you know, maybe college consists not of semesters in which you take 4 classes at once, but months-long courses in which you are entirely focused on that course. You don't use a phone during that time, and then you have a little break, you know, to let your family know you're alive and to handle paying tuition and all those things. But I really think it's time to think outside of the box. And if there's one upside to AI, as far as I'm concerned for higher ed, it's that it's pushing us to acknowledge that the system is not working and that we have to rethink it.
You know, when you say taking away a student's phone for a month and then immersing and letting their family know they're okay, it does seem like some of these college students say bye to their parents, you know, on August 21st or whenever you go to school, and then they text their parents 5 times that day 6 times the next day. Like they never really are away from their parents. Even if they're physically away, they're talking to their parents. And so they're not kind of developing the skills that we would expect of how to live on your own and how to figure things out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I had one student who was frank with me and said, I adore my parents, but I actually really appreciate that this program gives me kind of a reason, like an excuse to not be in touch with them for a while. She almost needed that permission from a course to take a break from constant communication. And this is somebody who adores her parents and loves them and is very close with them. But she recognized that there was some growth that would happen with the silence there.
Right, just to figure out things on your own and not just have that dependency, because I think a lot of kids just constantly talk to their parents when they're at school instead of what used to happen, which is the 1 or 2 calls a week or even the letters. And then they kind of don't learn to kind of solve problems on their own.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like what you said.
Funny you mentioned.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say this didn't make it into the piece, but about halfway through the program this summer, I really wanted to reward my students for being so devoted to this internet sabbatical, because they were just so all in, and I really admired that. So I reached out to all their parents and loved ones and said, hey, would you email me a letter for your loved one, and I will print them out and give them to them. And it was so delightful to watch them open one by one these letters from their loved ones. And one of my students said he'd never actually encountered his parent as a writer. He was so taken, he'll get text messages from his parents, but to read a full letter, he was analyzing it as he would analyze a text in seminar. And that was totally unexpected and really neat too.
Right, because I don't know if people who grow up with phones and text messages and short tweets have the attention span to sit there and read through a whole letter. So that's a whole nother skill that they're learning.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you said that you imagine a school maybe where instead of everyone having a laptop, your laptop is a word processor only. In other words, you're only going to type on it. And if you need a computer, you have to go to a computer lab and look something up. And honestly, first of all, that sounds like how I went to school, but back in the dark ages. But it sounds delightful.
And that's what one of my students said, when I mentioned an old school computer lab to him, I was just ideating, and his eyes lit up. It was like I had mentioned the coolest possible thing, a place where you just go to get your work done and then you leave and you're liberated from everything that comes with the internet. You get your headspace back, you get your life back. And so that's part of what emboldened me to write this piece, is that I saw that these young people really want it and almost romanticize it. So I think whoever starts ideating here and offering students offline educational experiences is going to be ahead of the curve and have a whole line of people who want to sign up.
Well, Colleen Kinder, where can our listeners find you and find the things that you're working on?
Thanks for asking. So my website is colleenkinder.com, and I'm also the executive director of a nonprofit magazine called Off Assignments, where we curate wonderful place writing.
Okay. Well, I hope everyone does look you up, because I just happened to run across this in the New York Times. I'm so glad that you answered my email to come on, and I'm definitely going to follow you, and I guest host every so often, and I would love to have you back, because not only was this piece interesting, it was incredibly well written. So I know that you weren't distracted by your phone while you were writing it.
I've started to keep my phone in the basement at night, which is my version of the internet sabbatical. It is nowhere near my bed and nowhere near my kids.
Well, what do you use for an alarm clock? An old school alarm clock?
So, I freeload off my husband a little. His alarm wakes us up.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Yeah, and I do have an old school clock next to me that I can use if I need to.
Right.
And believe it or not, we just got a landline because I want to start paving the way for my kids to be in touch with their friends in a way that doesn't require a cell phone.
You mean answering a phone and not knowing who's on the other end? Oh, the horror.
Exactly. My gosh, it's surprisingly really fun because only people I really love have our landline number. So it's always a good thing when our phone rings.
Right, and if you have, a big family, the phone rings and everyone kind of looks all excited, like, "Oh, I wonder, is it for me? Is it for you?" Yeah. Gosh, now we're talking about the good old days, like how we grew up. But there was a lot to be said for it. Well, Colleen Kinder, thank you so much for coming on, and I am definitely going to follow you, and I'm sure our listeners will. And I hope you have a happy New Year.
Thank you. You too, Linda. Take care.
And that was Colleen Kinder, and I found her just by reading the New York Times essay pages, and I thought it was interesting. And wow, she was a really great interview. I don't know if I could leave my phone in totally another room. Do you think you could do that, Justin?
Not a chance on this world.
Why? Do you have to follow the Eagles line? Is that the problem?
Yeah, a little bit of gambling, a little bit of constantly texting Matt DeSantis about what we're talking about today on the show.
Yeah, I haven't heard from Matt. Has he listened to anything that I've been doing? Should I get over my crush?
Yes, you should, because he has not listened to a second of anything this station has put out since.
I mean, didn't he know I was going to be on? I'm a little hurt.
I don't know if he knew you were on.
Oh, maybe. But he should be following.
He only, as far as he knows, if it doesn't happen within 3 to 7 p.m., it's not his problem.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. All right. So I'll have to forgive him. So do we have to take a break now? Or okay. Well, this is Linda Kerns. You can find me at Linda Kerns Law. We are live and local here on 1210 WPHT, and we will be right back.
Download to see if you qualify for Albert Instant Advance. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription is required for Instant Advance. Please see the Albert app or albert.com for subscription pricing. Subscriptions can be canceled at any time.
Kylie, what's wrong? I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? You can get up to a $1,000 advance fast to pay for car repairs, bills, rent, groceries, whatever you need. Plus, Albert can help you find ways to save and give you a custom budget to actually grow your money.
Albert can get me up to $1,000?
Exactly. But they do more than get you up to $1,000. Albert is your financial assistant, helping you budget, save, and spotting you money in a pinch.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code SAVE to get up to $1,000 for your bills, rent, groceries, and more. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code SAVE to get up to $1,000. Use code SAVE to get up to $1,000.
Attention, have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-358-6868. That's 800-358-6868. Again, 800-358-6868.
Now, you can listen to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
And this is Linda Kerns back on 1210 WPHT, live and local from Philadelphia, where it is still 30 degrees. So again, I hope anyone who's going to that Mummers Parade is ready to stay warm, wear hats, gloves, scarves, everything. Drink hot chocolate, anything to stay warm. And, thinking about the Mummers, growing up in the Philadelphia area, the Mummers are just there. You almost don't even think about them. They're just part of our lifestyle. But have you ever, Justin, have you ever been to a family wedding in another part of the country where those people might not know about the Mummers, but the band plays the Mummers song, and then the Philadelphia people get up and do the Mummer strut?
Yeah.
Because that has happened at family weddings where, someone's marrying someone from another part of the country. And when that song goes on and people do the Mummer strut, I mean, people's mouths hang open like, what are you doing? Right?
Well, if they didn't know, they're certainly they're gonna learn.
And I remember when I was in law school, somebody, I guess the word mummers came up, and somebody asked me to explain, well, what's a mummer? And that wasn't something that's kind of easy to explain. Like, think about it. Like, if someone says to you, well, okay, well, explain what a mummer is. And I say, well, it's a parade, and they dress up in fancy costumes, and they work on them all year, and they march down Broad Street, and they do the strut, and a lot of people were drinking, and they end up getting judged, and somebody wins. It's kind of a hard parade to describe, don't you think?
Oh yeah, it's it's like it's got pageantry, it's got the spectacle of it all is once you experience it, it's kind of like it's something that's hard to verbalize to somebody. It's basically like you got to show them, be like, this is what. Like this is our culture. This is what it's about. And once they see it, they understand it.
And then there's the controversy. Do you remember the year? And this was right when Bruce Jenner decided he was going to become Caitlyn Jenner. And you're probably too young to remember this, but you know that he was on the Wheaties box, Bruce Jenner.
Yeah, the Olympic gold medalist.
And so he was on the Wheaties box because they used to put all the athletes on the Wheaties box. And some mummer made a big sign with the Wheaties saying, like, this is what happens when you eat Wheaties. And I think he got banned, and there was a big hubbub about it, and that's not woke. And it does seem like the left is really trying to cancel the mummers. It seems like they, and I just think it's just fun. Like, just make fun of people. I feel like they don't necessarily. It's not like they favor one group to make fun of. I think the mummers will make fun of anybody. So I don't see there's any reason to cancel them. It's all Philadelphia. It's part of Philadelphia.
No, yeah, 100%. It's just I can't say. I almost said a certain word that I was gonna have to dump, but the ruining of more culture as we move on.
Yeah, sometimes I just think you just need to relax and not get so offended by everything all the time. I mean, it gets exhausting. Like, so if somebody says something that you don't really like, kind of just move on, ignore them, change the channel. That's what's so great about America. If you don't like what you're watching, what you're listening to, what you see in the paper, just change the channel. Don't have it on anymore. But rather, people like to just start a huge fit about it and rant and rave, and then just try to get people canceled. And I don't really appreciate that at all. So this is Linda Kerns, and I am sitting in for Jimmy Fallon. And I was lucky enough to have as my warm-up act the Mike Opelka. So how did he do today warming up for me?
Oh, it's another stunt brain day, so you know how much we all love stunt brain around here.
He is just a natural at the radio. He is. I just think he's so good at the radio. I remember when this past summer I went to Graceland, as I try to do every 2 years. For those of you who don't know, that's Elvis Presley's house. It's now a museum. You can go visit it. Justin, have you ever been to Graceland? Yeah.
That's funny.
Okay, well, and so I did a live hit on Opelka, I think, was filling in for Zioli, and I did
we were there for that.
Do you remember he said, Linda, are there more people buried in the backyard than are walking around Graceland? Yeah. I thought that, I thought that I was offended, but he's just so quick with that kind of stuff.
It amazes me how quick he's always ready to go with a bit, with a joke, with a reference, just like that.
Yeah, and he has that website where he puts stuff out every day.
At 5 o'clock in the morning every single day.
I don't know how he does it, and he's out golfing no matter what the weather is. He's one of I'm my favorite guest host on 1210 WPHT. Let's just get that straight. But I would say that he's my second favorite guest host after me. And, I think that he should be really proud that they put him in my warm-up slot. I mean, shouldn't he be, honored that he got such a prestigious slot?
We've had two hosts replace Zioli today. Opelka on the actual show, and then you're replacing Zioli right now on Fela's show.
I know, but there's nobody like Rich. I love listening to Rich. I remember when he was on in mornings and when he's on in afternoons too, sometimes I start laughing so hard. I don't know how you guys do it, because I probably would be laughing the entire time if I was on the show with him. He makes me laugh when I'm a guest.
Yeah, it's a trained talent. You have to get used to it.
So if anyone was listening last night, we had my brother on who was trying to play his AI songs, and it didn't really go well. He was holding some type of speaker up to his phone and
I think he was holding like a phone up to a phone
and trying to play it through the phone. And Justin and I were yelling, saying, "No, we can't hear you. We can't hear you." So
I think I told you after the show, it sounded like hold music when you're on hold with Verizon Wireless.
I hope Greg Stocker didn't hear that, because he's definitely going to fire me for that one. But in any event, I think we might have him on a little later, because he did, as promised, email you some of his AI songs,
and
right?
I do have all four of them loaded.
Well, we're not
and
playing
ready to
all
go.
four.
No, we're taking one Christmas song and one country song, and then we're going to play 30 to 45 seconds of each one, depending on how good we feel.
Well, he said to me yesterday, he's enjoying his last day of anonymity, because once those songs get played, his career is going to take off. So be ready, America. We're creating a new star hit right here on 1210 WPHT. And I think we're ready for a break, right, Justin? All right, so this is Linda Kerns. I am filling in for Jimmy Fallon. If you want to call in, we'd love to talk to you, 855-839-1210. And we will be right back after these messages.
Hey, this is Larry Steinitz with Investor Schooling. How many times are you going to listen to my voice before you finally go to investorschooling.com? I can't believe you haven't signed up for a class yet. You're going to learn real estate investing. You're going to learn stock options trading. You're going to learn things about money that you didn't even know existed. Go to investorschooling.com right now. Oh my goodness. This Thursday, investorschooling.com, and take that free class. See you there.
Oh man, I'm not insured. Wait, I'll get insurance and report the claim later.
Lying to an insurance company about your auto accident is insurance fraud, a felony, and you will get caught. Over the last 5 years, Pennsylvania's insurance fraud investigators made 2,200 arrests, collecting more than $15 million in restitution, fines, and court costs. Suspicious claims get investigated and prosecuted. Visit helpstopfraud.org.
Sponsored by the Pennsylvania Insurance Fraud Prevention Authority.
If you're one of the millions of Americans behind on your taxes, if you're afraid to open your mail because IRS collection letters could be coming, listen carefully. The IRS is cracking down, taking paychecks, freezing bank accounts, revoking passports. That's a fact. But here's what most people don't know. There are official tax relief programs designed to help struggling taxpayers. Programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Optima's award-winning team will fight to protect your paycheck, your passport, and your property. Their tax attorneys and licensed tax professionals will work tirelessly to get you the best deal possible with the IRS. Every day, penalties and interest keep piling up, so don't wait. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
When you went car shopping, you meant business. You aced vehicle history searches and test drives. Now you've got your wheels. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. The Department of Health and Human Services says it has frozen federal child care funding for the state of Minnesota, citing fraud allegations. Child care providers are disputing the claims. Minnesota's governor is weighing the state's legal options. And CBS's Heather Bosch reports.
Acting CDC Director Jim O'Neill is alleging widespread fraud in Minnesota specifically.
We believe the state of Minnesota has allowed scammers and fake daycares to siphon millions of taxpayer dollars over the past decade.
He says before Minnesota receives any more child care funds, the Trump administration wants to see receipts, photos, or other justifications for payments, and it's demanding the state conduct a full review of its child care centers. Heather Bosch, CBS News.
A spokesperson for Minnesota Governor Tim Walz says in a statement, the governor has been combating fraud for years while the president has been letting fraudsters out of jail. From portions of the Great Lakes to the northeast, the snow is falling and the wind is howling. CBS's Ian Lee reports from Syracuse, New York.
Feels like temperatures dropped to a dangerous 10 degrees in Boston overnight. And gale force winds slam New York, where organizers are working to prepare for New Year's celebrations. The cold snap extends all the way to Florida, which saw highs in the 80s earlier this week, replaced by lower than normal temperatures today.
The CDC is reporting a sharp rise in the number of flu cases this holiday season. CBS News chief medical correspondent Dr. John LaPook has more on the new numbers.
So far this season, the CDC estimates there have been at least 7.5 million illnesses, 81,000 hospitalizations, and 3,100 deaths, including 8 reported pediatric deaths.
Dr. LaPook says people should still get the vaccine. A derailed train has leaked a flammable chemical, sparking a fire in a rural area of Kentucky. Molten sulfur leaked from one of the CSX rail cars, but the fire's been extinguished. Ash Groves is with the emergency management for Todd County, Kentucky.
So as it was coming off, obviously, and hardening, that chemical reaction, it was just a cloud off of the actual substance. So it wasn't burning anything. It's just it was leaking into a field, an open field.
A shelter-in-place order has been lifted for the surrounding area in Trenton, Kentucky. A new ocean bed search is underway for Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 more than a decade after it disappeared, with 239 people on board en route to China. CBS's Elizabeth Palmer.
If they find the plane, Ocean Infinity will earn $70 million and the prestige of having solved one of the greatest mysteries of modern times, while family members trapped in the nightmare of not knowing may finally get some answers.
This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive. See why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive to stay protected on the road. See for yourself at Progressive.com.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
A former teacher is spending his retirement putting books into the hands of elementary school students.
Kirk Bice of Atlanta founded the Bice Book Foundation. It accepts donations of books that he says students actually want to read. At the end of each semester, he visits 3 elementary schools and hand-delivers thousands of books, allowing students to browse and choose for themselves.
We brought all of these books for you today to choose from. You're going to be able to find books that you want to read.
He's not a fan of the current approach to literacy instruction.
And I think for too many of our vulnerable students, their first experience with reading is often a negative one.
Christopher Cruz, CBS News.
Florida wildlife officials say the state's first black bear hunt in a decade killed 52 bears. The Florida black bear population has grown from several hundred in the 1970s to over 4,000. Critics question the hunt's necessity and transparency. Jennifer Kuiper, CBS News.
Are you living with dry AMD?
If so, you could be on the road to geographic atrophy, or GA, a condition that leads to retinal cell death and permanent vision loss. But with Izervay, you can
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay slows GA progression by targeting a key source of retinal cell death, which may help preserve your vision longer. Izervay, or Avastin Capted Pagel, is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Live and local with Linda Kerns on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
And this is Linda Kerns, live and local from the birthplace of independence, from the home of the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. And we can say that for one more day because they are the 2025 Super Bowl champions. And hopefully this year, next year, they're going to be the 2026 Super Bowl champions. Now, Justin, I just looked it up and the line is different now. The line went down to negative 6.5 for the Eagles.
Okay, so I think it's going to be closer then. I guess Vegas seems to think that they're not playing the starters; they're playing the second stringers. If they're already lowering the line,
so
5 days out?
Yeah, and then the over/under was at 42.5. Now it's at 41.5. So why did they change that?
Because they think with the second stringers in, they're not going to score as many points.
Now, that's kind of what they were looking at in elections too. Don't these Vegas people predict elections?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you can. I think certain bookmakers were having actual bets on the election, but I know you can bet on things on especially elections and sporting events on Kalshi or Polymark. And I shouldn't say bet because they're prediction markets. Just a fancy way to get around gambling laws, because then it wouldn't be legal in all 50 states, whereas how Kalshi and Polymarket operate, they're completely legal in all 50 states.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, Justin Otero, producer extraordinaire, who I am so happy to have had these. This is my third sit-in for Jimmy Fallon, and I will be back on Friday, January 2nd from 10 to noon. Do you know who's producing for me that day? You don't know?
You give me 1 second, I can find out.
Is it you?
Most definitely it's not me, because I'm on Rich's show.
Well, how am I going to do it without you? I mean,
if you're on Dawn's show, it's probably Borowski. Now that I think about it.
Well, you don't think he's still on vacation with his daughter? It's January 2nd. It's Friday.
No, because I would have been sent there. I would have gotten a call to do that show if Borowski wasn't there. I'll check it in a sec. Give me 1 second.
Okay. Well, I have some good guests lined up for the first show of the new year, so I'm excited about that. And I also read that TV show, The Pit, is coming back on air. I think it's going to start next week or the week after. If you haven't seen it, I really do recommend it. It's on that HBO Max channel that they keep changing the name. First they were HBO, then they were Max, and I think they're back to HBO. But it's this really cool TV show that they take basically it's not a documentary, it's an actual show. And they take maybe not 24, maybe 16 hours in a day in an ER, and they start at 7 a.m. So each episode is an hour in the ER, and it's kind of like real time, and you see what happens in an ER. And sometimes I don't like those shows because Hollywood can get so preachy about and, start lecturing on healthcare or all sorts of things that we don't really want to hear about when you're getting entertained. But this show really did demonstrate what goes on in an inner city ER. And I like that it was Pittsburgh because, it's local, it's Pennsylvania. And I don't think it was totally accurate sometimes with like how the laws and so forth work in Pennsylvania, but I think that's because they're hiring the wrong consultants. So maybe in addition to having my legal job, my law firm job, and then also being a guest host, I should be consultant on these TV shows to make sure that they do it all accurately.
You wouldn't be the first recurring guest/guest host to be to dip their toe into consultancy.
Or I don't know why I'm grinding it out in a law firm every day when all I would have to do is open a Somali daycare and apparently make like $1 million. I mean, why am I going to work every day?
Lord only knows. Do you see people are now starting to investigate, like not just in Minnesota, and finding more? Because I think the Surge Philly guys, Ian and Frank, they were looking at a daycare system in Philadelphia.
Well, I think that they should. I think they're all suspicious. Don't you remember that horrific, let's do a soda tax? What a horrible idea. I hate that they tax the soda like that and then saying, well, we're going to use it for pre-K. And all they did was make all this money available so that anyone can say, hey, I have a pre-K, sign me up. And is anyone really checking to make sure that they have students? And, pre-K sounds like they have the kids sitting there and they're learning all sorts of good things. They're learning their colors and they're learning their shapes when it's probably just somebody's living room and the kids are just hanging out, like playing with toys. So good. I hope that those people start to investigate. And you know what else this showed us too? And these investigative reporters, sometimes they don't need tons of money and tons of, investment and advertisement. They need a kid in a sweatshirt with an idea and a microphone to just walk around and say, hey, let me look into this. So I really give a lot of credit to those kids who did that. And I hope that they keep going. I mean, that's kind of how James O'Keefe started out used to be from Project Veritas. Now he's at O'Keefe Media. Just go around and ask questions. I mean, that's what our media should be doing.
It's like you have free will. Anybody could do this at any time. You have free will. You can go do that.
You have to be kind of brave though, because
you always. But like as soon as you realize like you have the free will to do this, and you just got to take that first step.
Yeah.
And as soon as you take that first step, your other foot's gonna follow. Next thing you know, you're going down the path. Like Nick Shirley.
Yep. Yeah. And I'm glad he's doing that. It's funny though to see how the media is reacting, because some of the more left-wing media is acting like, oh, no, nothing to see here. This isn't a big deal. He's just bothering people who have legitimate daycares. But like I said earlier with the guests, once you start having the government giving out grants, giving out loans that people don't have to pay back, subsidizing you, there's just going to be corruption. And I say this a lot. I'm going to say it again. I want a government that gives me a really strong defense. I want a strong military. I want to be safe. I want our country to be safe. I want a government that's going to appoint good people to some of these roles, like at HUD and to the Department of Justice, and have really good people in those roles. And then throw a nice Easter egg roll and decorate the White House at Christmas, and then that's it. And then other than that, to just get out of our lives. And why all that money is getting thrown at daycares, that just doesn't even make sense. And now hopefully people are going to ask questions.
Not even just about the daycares, but can we just like sit here and think about for a second how the sitting mayor of Minnesota, Jacob Frey, is putting out like full-length press conferences speaking in Somalian, and he's going to events where he's dressed in Somalian clothes, he's waving the Somalian, like he's got to do all this performative action for a different country just to remain politically. He had to bring up a clan war back in Somalia just so Omar Fateh wouldn't be elected as Minneapolis mayor. That's how he won re-election, because Omar Fateh was from one clan that is typically shunned in Somalia, and he rallied the other Somalian citizens in Minneapolis that were from other clans, being like, look where this guy's from. He has to do all this just to be a mayor in an American city.
Well, Justin, you do know who the most brilliant person on immigration policy in the history of America is, because he was from Philadelphia. Joey Vento from Gino's Steaks. When he put that sign in his sandwich shop that said "Speak English,"
Oh yeah,
he is basically the most brilliant immigration guy this country's ever seen. I mean, he said it all in that sign. This is America. Speak English. And remember how he got tortured for that? And I think I just read that a woman, a bus driver, and I think this was in Pennsylvania. She apparently what was happening was the kids were bullying each other by talking in a different language, and then the other kids didn't understand it.
No, there's the one kid was being bullied because she could speak Spanish. She could only speak Spanish.
Okay.
And the other kids were bullying her because she only spoke Spanish. So then the bus driver put up the sign that said only English on the bus to try and stop the bullying.
Right. And I think she got fired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I remember they started a GoFundMe for her.
Yeah, and she was just
liberals all over collectively melted down like they usually do.
I know. What is with the meltdowns? I especially, I am a female who lives in Philadelphia who's a conservative. So I am constantly disappointed in my government, in public policy. I'm just constantly disappointed. I've never melted down. I've never marched up and down Broad Street. I've never stood out front of City Hall and started shrieking. And that just seems like that's what they do. Let's just have a collective meltdown and just screech about it. Whereas
they're just children.
Yeah.
When they can't get their way, they revert into literal toddlers and just scream, cry, throw their toys everywhere. Because that's all they know how to do.
I know. I know. And I say, you know what? If you don't like it, just vote for somebody different. And I don't know what they have to screech about here, especially in Philadelphia, when it seems like every liberal policy just becomes just the favored way to do things. I'm still upset about that soda tax, which we still have. It's not fair. It's just, first of all, they said it was to combat obesity. So how could you decide, well, I want to tax soda so people won't drink it, but I need that tax to fund this preschool. But if that tax is successful and people stop drinking soda, then they won't have money for the preschool. The whole thing didn't make sense at all. And they also they just don't tax soda with sugar in it. They tax soda with aspartame or any other type of artificial sweetener in it. So that was just a way to extract more money from us. And I think who it hits the hardest, like most of these things, is the people who don't have the means. Because if you don't have the means to drive outside of the city and buy your soda outside the city if you want it, then you're going to have to pay that tax. And then what about these mom and pop shops that sell soda? And that's a way that they can bring people in, and hopefully they'll buy other things, and then their business suffers. I hate that soda tax. And I remember I brought my niece. I think I was taking her to the Man to a movie, and we stopped in Wawa. And I was bringing her and her little friend. And some of the movies at the Man on the lawn, you can bring your own snacks. So I told them they could get whatever they wanted. And I remember my niece said to her little friend, she said, Aunt Linda will let you buy anything, but she has something about soda in the city. So don't even ask her if you can get a soda, because she'll get really, really upset. So only buy water. So yeah, I'm still upset about that soda tax.
It's another one of the many brilliant ideas from the Mensa level brain of former Mayor Jim Kelly.
Oh, I know. Kenny. You just
Jim
called him
Kenny.
Kenny.
It's been a long day. I'm going on hour
I know.
7.
But I brought you that great dinner.
That dinner was great. That pizza is incredible.
Do the other guest hosts bring you dinner?
No.
Oh, okay.
Half the time they're not even here.
Yeah, that's true. I know.
You're the only guest host that's actually in the studio.
But I mean, look, I'm new at this, so it helps to be here and kind of learn all this stuff and see how everything works. And
soon enough, you'll be getting your own Comrex, connecting to Access, and I won't see you, and it'll just be like Opelka.
I don't even know what all those words mean.
You will.
Oh, God. Well, wait, I am a lawyer. I have a law practice. I have to
So is Matt Rooney.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But he seems to have a lot of time on his hands. Maybe he made a lot of money and he doesn't need to do as much law practicing anymore. I don't know. No, Matt's great. I love to. Does he still have a show on Sunday nights, or did he move to
Saturday?
Okay, yeah. Poor Matt. That was a tough election. I think for some things we just have to put 25 in the rearview mirror. I guess that Mikey Sherrill, she'll start. Well, does she start on January 1st? Is she going to be the mayor? I don't even know. I mean, I feel very sorry for New Jersey. I remember I went into a grocery store there and they don't give you bags. And I didn't know that before I went in. And I had all this stuff, and I just said to the lady, well, what am I supposed to do? And they have no solution for you because they don't even sell the bags. So you buy all these groceries, and they think that they're helping. What are they helping the environment to not have the bags? I don't understand those policies, because then what happened is everyone ended up with 4,000 of those reusable bags in their closet that aren't getting used.
Don't even get me started about how many of these. Wawa, Walmart, ShopRite, Aldi's. Oh my God.
Well,
many.
In Aldi's defense, they're very upfront about it. Like, walking in, look, we're not going to give you bags. But actually, you can buy the paper bags from them.
Yeah. It's just, I'm sick and tired of just having so many 30 cents here. Some of them are like $1. Like if you go to ShopRite, you have to pay like $1 for a bag if you forget your bags in your car.
What are you supposed to put your stuff in? It's all part of the experience.
Just give me the plastic bags like we used to have. You're just doing performative activism by having these reusable bags. It's so stupid.
And this is another example of government stepping in, because they're always talking about recycling. They force you to recycle this, recycle that. But then what happens when you're a Philadelphian and you discover that you're sorting out all your recyclables and you're putting your recyclables in the blue containers and your trash in the regular containers, and then you find out that the recyclables aren't even getting recycled, that they're taking it and burning it? So how are you really helping the environment if they're not recycling the recyclables? And that's an example of just government putting not even its toe, like putting its whole foot, its whole leg into the system and kind of just distorting it, because you can't just require people to recycle if you don't have places for that recycling to go. So it needs to kind of start from the ground up so that somebody needs that stuff. Somebody has a use for the cans or the bottles or whatever you're recycling, the paper. And then when you have people separate out their trash, there is some place for it to go. But that's not how they think, and then we end up having to separate all our trash and then watch it all get dumped in the same place, and that is just really, really, really frustrating. And that's just it's an example of these policies that just don't work, and it just punishes us. It costs us more money. I always wonder about that, especially when you go into those fast food restaurants or at the airport and they say, put your soda cans here and put food waste here. And I'm thinking, is this all getting dumped in the same place in the back?
Probably.
Like, why are they forcing me to do this? It doesn't make sense. By the way, if we have 2 times when we're coming back, I think that one time you should play Elvis singing My Way and one time you should play Sinatra singing My Way. Because I was on the Dom Giordano show today and he thinks that Sinatra was better at singing My Way. I think that Elvis was better. So if I am coming back twice, do that. And if not, I'll ask my producer to do it on
It's
Friday.
Borowski. That's Borowski, by the way.
My Dan.
Yeah, you get to gush about Maisie for 2 hours.
No, don't you see? I'm not into babies, and I told Dan as soon as he had that baby, do not be showing me pictures because all those babies look alike to me. And when someone shows me pictures, and I'm supposed to say, "Oh, she's so cute," well, I guess she's cute. I don't know. They all look alike to me. So Dan knows, I'm sure he can show them to Dawn. I'm sure Dawn will look at 25 baby pictures and over every single one. No.
She's got a whole album of them already.
Yeah, Dan showed me one, and then I think as a joke sent me another one. And then, I'm thrilled for him. Babies are so important. Children are so important. They're gifts from God. I just don't need to keep looking at pictures of them or videos of them because to me, they just really all look alike. Although I will say that, Dan's such a tall guy. He's like 6'5", 6'6". He's really tall.
Yeah, he is tall.
That baby looks like she's going to be tall because she looks really long. So I did notice that in the picture. But then after that, I was like, how much can I look at this picture? Maybe I'll look at one on Friday when he comes in and produces for me. And I booked all those guests for Friday, so
you can bring up your grievances about.
Yeah, I know that one guest, Steve. How do you say his name? Steve Malloy.
Steve Malloy.
Yeah, he would have been interesting to talk about. He has that blog, Junk Science.
Yeah.
But Zioli has him on all the time.
Yeah, we
right?
have Dom has him on all the time. We have him on. I think
Okay.
we had him on like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. I guess I only listen when you guys are talking about me, and other than that, I just
Yeah,
say,
I said this as I was bringing you upstairs from the lobby. It's like it's funny how no matter what, as soon as we say the name Linda, it seems like within seconds, we all three of us see our phones light up, and there is a text from Linda Kerns.
we have that group chat. That, and I have to keep Zioli in check because I don't think a lot of people stand up to Zioli. So, I'm not going to gush all over him. I'm going to tell it like it is. And I think he needs that. I think Mr. Fox News needs that. Don't forget to book me on his show next week because I really, really, really want to talk about.
Yeah, I texted Matt about it.
Okay, I want to talk about this dog situation and whether he's going to name his next kid Rover since he gave the dog the human name. And I want to talk to him about my experiences of having you produce me, since he always gushes over you and acts like you're the best producer in the world. So I'm going to give an honest assessment on the Zioli show of how you did producing me. Are you afraid?
Not at all.
Really?
No, because I know I'm good at my job.
Oh, okay. Well, aren't you afraid, like, maybe I'll give you a bad review?
Nope.
Because you know you did a good job?
Yep.
Okay. Oh. All right, interesting. So you mentioned that you gambled. Now, will you put money on the Eagles this weekend?
Little $5 on the money line.
We have a family for the March Madness, we do a pool, and then for the Kentucky Derby, my dad used to finance a $3 bet for all of us, and now that my dad went to heaven, I financed that bet. So I downloaded the app from, I think it's Twin Spires, and I front the money for the bet, and all the kids pick one of the horses, and it's fun because I love watching the Kentucky Derby. I love watching the horse races, and it's even much more fun when you have money on the game.
I think that's where I got it from because my grandfather loves horse racing so much. He used to go to Delaware Park at least, especially when it was in season, once a month, and just watch the horses.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing like the Kentucky Derby, but then just watching the Triple Crown. We haven't had a Triple Crown winner in a really long time, right?
No, I think it was Justify was the last one. Because I remember American Pharaoh was in 2015, and then there was one a year, Justify was the year after it, or 2 years after it.
So do you bet on the Kentucky Derby?
Yeah, it depends. If there's a horse that I see that I really like, that I like the name of, horse racing is all about superstitions and superstitious names, superstitious numbers. You bet the trifecta of your birthday, you place a bet on 08, a 14,
right,
and then a 9 or an 8 for a 9 because I can't do 98. So
it's definitely a rich person's game. Just owning those horses because it's amazing how much money they spend on it. So you really got to have money to burn. Again, you have to open a daycare for Somali people in Minnesota. Then you'll have the money to just go out and buy a racehorse and finance the trainer and you'll pay for the jockey. You'll have the money to do all that. Now I know that. Coming up, my brother's probably sitting by the phone saying, "Why are they not calling me?" Are we really going to play his AI songs on the air, Justin?
You can handle one whole minute of they're not that bad.
Uh-oh.
I mean this they are not that you're probably thinking these are the worst of the worst. It sounds like the most tone deaf. Can't hold a tune. They aren't that bad. They're good.
Oh gosh.
Good in the sense of I'm impressed that he was able to put these together.
Justin, you were creating a monster.
This is a problem you have to deal with, not me.
Because doesn't he have your number now? Now he'll be calling you saying, "Put me on the Zioli show. Put me on the Opelka show."
No.
You didn't give him your number.
No.
Okay, that was probably good thinking. So he's just going to bug me.
Yeah, that's like I said. That's a you problem.
Well, he's probably sitting there, just like listening to all this, thinking this is my big debut. So, are we going to take a break so that we can and then what? Are we going to come back? You're going to get him on, and we're going to listen to the Tim Kerns AI songs.
Sounds like a plan to me.
All right, this is Linda Kerns on 1210 WPHT. A little nervous about hearing her brother's AI songs on the air, but hey, we're live and local, and Timothy's, one of Philadelphia's finest, so we'll be right back.
Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? Riverwinds Restaurant in West Deptford has you covered. From weddings and anniversaries to corporate banquets and holiday parties, their stunning riverfront views, elegant event rooms, and award-winning cuisine make every occasion unforgettable. And the team at Riverwinds takes care of every detail so you can relax and celebrate. Large or small, formal or casual, there's no better backdrop than Riverwinds. Book your banquet today at 856-579-7900.
See Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra on the story of Philly sports put to music at the Broadway Theater in Pittman, New Jersey, February 21st.
First of all, I loved it.
I couldn't imagine how good it would be with the orchestra.
All his voices are fabulous, and the fact that he sings.
That band.
You laugh, you teared up.
Just great stuff.
I've never laughed so much my cheeks hurt. I'm like, yeah. Excellent.
That's Conklin with City Rhythm at the Broadway Theater in Pittman, New Jersey on February 21st. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com.
joeconklin.com.
Oh.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 1039 FM.
Act Philly rescues 9 Yorkshire Terriers in North Philly after their owner dies. A wallaby escapes his enclosure at a Gloucester County animal sanctuary. Philly International hopes the influx of tourists coming into the city in 2026 enjoy airport facility upgrades.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Kale and Company weekday mornings 6 till 10.
The smartphone has made us stupid. We live in a society where you are just programmed now to have this thing in your hand. It's like an addiction. It's like smoking or drinking. You don't even know you're doing it. How many times are you in a setting where there's zero reason for you to have your phone in your hand? It's almost become a crutch in society to avoid social interactions with people.
Start your day with Kale and Company. Weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Hey, Jeff, looks like your business is really booming, even in a tough time for businesses like ours.
Hey, Mike. Yeah, thanks to LendSeek, our business was able to take care of some outstanding bills and taxes and to purchase inventory and expand our product lines.
Wow. You know, my business needs working capital, but only from a reputable company that I can trust and count on. How does LendSeek work?
Fast and easy. Just apply at lendseek.com. Their AI lending platform gave my business access to over 100 funding programs with one simple application. And it costs nothing to apply.
At lendseek.com, you can receive business funding with no collateral, no prepayment penalties, and no restrictions on how you use the funds. Whatever your funding needs are, seek no more. Our AI lending marketplace has you covered. If you've been in business at least 1 year with annual revenue of at least $250,000, you could get the funding your business needs in as little as 24 hours. There's no obligation, so apply today at lendseek.com. That's LENDSEEK.com.
Julia owed the IRS thousands.
I was paralyzed with fear.
Then
I heard a commercial for Optima Tax Relief.
Optima Tax Relief is the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau and experts in the Fresh Start Initiative.
Optima Tax Relief settled my IRS tax bill.
Call Optima now for a free consultation.
It was amazing.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Visit OptimaTaxRelief.com for details.
Hey, it's Nick Cale. This holiday season, share the love of driving excellence at the Mercedes-Benz Holiday Love Celebration at Mercedes-Benz of Westchester, Wilmington, and Atlantic City with exceptional offers like the 2025 C-Class sedan or the 2026 GLC SUV with 1.99% financing for 36 months. And I just saw on social media that our guy Michael Steinberg from the sales department who manages our Piazza partnership just got a gorgeous new Mercedes-Benz in Westchester. So discover your Mercedes-Benz today at Mercedes-Benz of Westchester, Wilmington, or Atlantic City.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you feel embarrassed, trapped, maybe even ashamed just because you own a timeshare?
Well, I'm here to tell you you're not alone. Chuck McDowell here, the timeshare cancellation guy. I get over 3,000 complaints a week from all kinds of folks that feel the same way you do. Honest people, teachers, veterans, grandparents, all losing sleep over a timeshare they can't get rid of. That's why 15 years ago, I founded Wesley Financial Group to help people take their lives back. Today, I run Wesley with my 2 sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we would want our own family to be treated. That mindset has helped us cancel over 50,000 timeshares from people just like you. So if you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-981-4455. That's 800-981-4455. 800-981-4455.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Follow Talk Radio 1210 on Instagram and Facebook at 1210 WPHT.
And we are back. This is Linda Kerns on 1210 WPHT, and that is Elvis Presley singing My Way, the superior version. I think he did it way better than Sinatra. Why are you shaking your head, Justin?
Because it's wrong.
Well, I do have an update. Breaking news. They have not found the wallaby in New Jersey. Apparently, the wallaby can run up to 35 miles per hour, and they have drones searching out for him. If he can run 35 miles an hour, he might be trying to get to Pennsylvania before they inaugurate that Mikey Sherrill into office. Maybe he's trying to escape. But
she's getting inaugurated on the 20th, by the way. I checked.
Oh, of January?
Yeah, 20th.
Oh, all right. Well, he shouldn't come to Pennsylvania because our governor's, I think, terrible too. Josh Shapiro.
He's coming to campaign for Stacey Garrity.
Yes, he could campaign for Stacey Garrity, or maybe he should just hop south and go to Governor DeSantis land in Florida. Maybe that's an idea.
Hopefully, future Governor Byron Donalds.
And there you go. Absolutely. Yeah, I like Byron Donalds. So in the on deck circle, we have Tim Kerns. And Justin, I know you're a sports fan. My brother did play minor league baseball, so you might want to ask him about that. He did play minor league baseball after a stellar baseball career in college. So I'm a little anxious and a little nervous to welcome what do we call him? The AI musician? What do we call him? How do we introduce him?
You can just call him a musician.
I don't think we're going to call him a musician. Let's just say, let's welcome Tim Kerns. Tim, are you there?
I'm happy to be here. You can call me songwriter or lyricist.
There we go. Because he did write the lyrics to all
Justin,
these songs.
You're totally encouraging him. Do you want to ask him about his baseball career before we get started? Since you're such a baseball fan.
You're trying to put this off so much. Just so rude.
Okay,
yeah,
well,
let's get to the music.
All right. So we're not playing the entire song because that'll take up the whole show. But Justin did listen, and he has some clips. So, Justin, do you want to introduce the clip?
What's the first song?
So we're gonna start with. I think we're gonna start with the Christmas song, and the one out of the two that you sent me, the one that I liked the most was "Flat Broke at Christmas."
Oh my heavens! Jeez.
Okay.
I'm a little mortified, but here goes.
It's the holiday season, everyone's favorite time of year. Not for this guy as I stare into my beer. The holiday season, I'm not a fan. I'm a down on my luck betting man. I'm a gambler on a bad street. I've lost all hope. It's gonna be a blue Christmas, 'cause I'm out flat broke. I have no steady income, still don't have a job. My parlays ain't...
So that it's good. I like it. It's really It's very apropos considering how much gambling talk we've been doing tonight.
So somebody on the YouTube chat wrote great tune, so he's getting a little bit of encouragement. So
You got to understand that you're only playing a little clip of it, but all my songs have really, really good choruses, and that's what makes a great song, the chorus. And if you listen to them, that make sure that we always get to a great chorus. We didn't even get to that there, but I'm glad you played a nice clip of it.
And what was that one called?
Flat Broke at Christmas.
All right. And
now, my other Christmas song, and Justin, it sounds like you didn't get a clip of it, that was What's in Santa's Sleigh for Me, and I really wrote that with Mariah Carey in mind.
Oh, Justin, you did listen to that one?
I did listen, I'm more of like I personally don't like Mariah Carey music,
I know.
so that's not really
right.
my type of sound. So if given the choice, I would easily pick anything country sounding over anything like more directed toward Mariah Carey. But I can see how some people would. Some people like that style of music.
So what do you think? Do you think he'll get a contract? Do you think someone will pay him to? Well, how are you an AI musician? Would you just go and just have people buy tickets to see you sit on a stage and hold your phone up to a microphone? I mean, how would this even work? Tim, do you have plans for this?
If you're asking me, no, I'm writing the songs, and then the AI gives an idea of how the song should be sung, and then you get the right artist to sing it, and that person goes platinum.
Okay, so Justin, this next statement I'm going to really regret, but my brother is also he likes to put things out on his Twitter account. So I'm a little I don't know, a little nervous to give out his Twitter because he's a big fan of Donald Trump, let's say. He's MAGA to the core. So
well, he's in the right place for it.
I don't know, Tim. Do you want to give out your Twitter address?
Well, hold on, Justin. What is the second song that you picked out for me?
A Few Shots More.
Okay, and that was the latest country song that I just wrote as well. Okay.
Should we play that?
I'd like to hear that. I'd like to hear that and see what people think.
Okay.
All right, let's get that queued up. Here we go.
I hadn't had a drink since the night before, so I headed to the bar for a few shots more. I drank lunch and dinner till I couldn't see straight. Stumbled out of there at 8:15. When I woke on Tuesday, I had nothing to do. No job, no girl, nothing new. I hadn't had a drink since the night before, so I headed to the bar for a few shots more. I recognized some locals.
There you go.
Well, I figured I'd let that one breathe a little bit since you wanted to hear the chorus.
So
yeah, thank you. That was good. You almost started right into it. It was like the middle of the song you picked up.
But Tim, where do you get the inspiration for these? Because you're happily married. You're not really a drinker. You weren't broke at Christmas. I mean, you're employed and everything. So where do you get the inspiration for all these kind of like woeful country?
I've always been someone who was creative and could write down thoughts. I don't know if you remember, but on when we celebrated our mother's 70th birthday, we had an Elvis impersonator, and I had actually written a couple songs at that time, and I cornered him at our house to make sure, I had him sing some of the lines from it to see what my song sounded like. And he was like, "Man, I'm trying to prepare for this. You got to give me some space." But then this AI stuff came along where I'm able to actually write it down and have them, kind of be able to put my words to music, and it's really helped be able to put the songs together. And been able to write a lot of songs. I just came off a hip surgery where I had some downtime, and it was a great way to pass the time to write some music. So I really, it's been great to do, and I really enjoyed doing it.
But you never took a music lesson. Like I played the piano, but you never had any type of music lessons when you were a kid.
No, it's again, writing songs. I've always been able to tell just listening to one song one time whether a song was good or not, whether it was going to be a hit or not. I could always do that, and you just have to listen to the good songs and hear how the rhythm of the songs go and how they repeat a repeatable, memorable chorus. And that's what makes a great song. If you really look at Billy Joel songs or a lot of the great songs, they're simple songs that have a wonderful, repeatable chorus that you remember. And that's how you write a great song.
Well, you were an English major in college, right?
I was a history major.
Oh, okay. I thought you were an English major. Well, I mean, you had to read a lot, so and it sounds like kind of all that's paying off. So
At Malvern Prep High School and Davidson College higher education, you definitely had to read a lot. Those
yeah,
were,
there you go. So all that investment by mom and dad paid off. Well, Tim, I hope you enjoyed your debut. I think that you will no longer be anonymous, and I'm sure you're going to have tons of fans now. So
and Justin, if you get inundated with people that say we'd really like to hear the whole song, then it's up to you. You're going to have to play the whole song for them.
Okay.
Will do.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Tim.
All right, everybody, have a happy New Year. By the way, you were wondering, we did real well at Atlantic City this morning, if you were wondering.
Oh,
All
okay.
right?
Yeah, we were definitely wondering.
All right, have a good one.
All right, Justin. Well, thank you for giving him his debut. Are we going to take a quick break before we have to come back? All right, and this is Linda Kerns, who just gave her brother his big debut on 1210 WPHT, and we will be right back.
If you're suffering from burning, tingling, or numb feet, you need to pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Thomas Oliver of Oliver Wellness Center. Doctor, what is neuropathy?
Peripheral neuropathy is actually nerve damage to the feet and legs.
And what are the symptoms?
The major symptoms are pain, numbness, tingling, burning, muscle cramps, coldness in the hands and feet, and problems with balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
It is absolutely treatable, and we can get great results.
Call 856-347-0032 today to schedule a nerve damage screening. Your nerve damage screening will tell you if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a candidate for our innovative treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe there's nothing that can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, and even with amputations. Call 856-347-0032. The first 25 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Call 856-347-0032.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-823-5544. That's 800-823-5544. 800-823-5544.
Picture streams in our community. That's where our kids play and dogs splash. And some of these streams provide the water we drink. But is the water in these streams clean and safe? The truth is, for most local streams, no one knows. That's a problem. One the Isaac Walton League can help you solve with the Clean Water Challenge. For almost 50 years, the Isaac Walton League of America has helped people just like you test the water in local streams, clean up pollution, and protect healthy waters. Today, the Isaac Walton League has an ambitious new goal: engage volunteers across the country to test 100,000 more streams for pollution. You can protect clean water in our community by joining the Clean Water Challenge. To get involved, visit iwla.org. That's iwla.org.
My grades were bad. I would get D's and C's.
I appeared to be doing good at my school life, but if you would see me at home, it would have been a completely different story.
I mean, it was just rough focusing on school when your mother is somebody you have to take care of.
It got worse and worse and worse throughout the years.
There are students who need somebody.
They can trust someone, and it could be the first person they've ever trusted in their life.
Communities in Schools is lowering America's dropout rate by helping more than 1.3 million kids every year get whatever they need to succeed in school.
If something was going on at home, we would go just stop by Miss Liberty's office and talk to her.
communities and schools, vouched for me when everyone else had lost hope.
You can help change the picture of education right here in your community and across the nation. Visit communitiesandschools.org.
I hear people say we can't save every kid, but I think that we can.
The very first thing you taught me was to be fair. No cutting in line. Play by the rules. Play by the rules. Don't pick on the little kids.
It's important. It's the right thing to do.
It helps create the world we want to live in. Well, there's something I need to tell you.
Kids aren't the only ones that should be fair.
Mommies and daddies should be that way too. Every time you go to the store, you have a chance to be fair. To do the right thing.
To make a difference in someone else's life.
It's easy. It's not expensive. And it makes a huge difference. Just look for the Fair Trade certified label on products in the grocery store.
It means that farmers are getting a fair deal.
That their kids get to stay in school. That they can look forward to a brighter future. And we're getting great products that were grown with care.
Now that's fair.
It's good for our family.
It's good for our neighborhood.
It's good for the whole world. Buy fair, be fair. Visit befair.org to learn more.
I'm glad we had this talk.
You can now tune in to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
And we are back. This is Linda Kerns on 1210 WPHT. I hope Dom Giordano was listening, because that was a kind of a tribute to Dom Giordano, who thinks that that version of My Way by Frank Sinatra is better than Elvis Presley's version.
And he's correct.
And I don't think he's correct at all.
I think he's correct.
No.
Yeah.
I do love Frank Sinatra, and I do listen to Frank Sinatra, but, you know, Elvis, he's number one in my book. But I do appreciate you playing that. And yeah, I guess people can listen and hear for themselves. You know, we were talking a little bit about gambling, and this is a little bit of inside baseball as far as lawyers go, but there was this blog that was really popular among lawyers and probably among regular people too. It was called SCOTUS blog, Supreme Court of the United States. And it became really popular because you could look at it and see summaries of Supreme Court cases. You could kind of get gossip about the Supreme Court and so forth. And it was started by this lawyer named Thomas Goldstein, who started out at a big firm. I think he was at Jones Day. He's argued before the Supreme Court quite a bit, and he was very successful. He had been involved in some of the high stakes cases involving Google and Oracle, and he was just a really well regarded lawyer. And then he started this blog, SCOTUS blog, with his wife. And then all of a sudden, he kind of stepped back from SCOTUS blog. He kind of stepped back from the SCOTUS blog was still running, but he kind of stepped back from it. He stepped back from arguing before the Supreme Court. And what it turned out was, and file this under, you never know what's going on behind closed doors. It turned out that he had been leading a secret double life. And so this Supreme Court lawyer who started this blog that became incredibly successful, it was, very lucrative too. And lawyers a lot of times depended on it for behind the scenes information. And when there was important arguments, he would often have them live blog so you could kind of know what was going on. It turned out that he had a secret life of ultra high stakes gambling. And even though he had a wife and children and appeared really happy on the outside, a bunch of what I guess the term is sugar daddy relationships with multiple young women. So, by day, Supreme Court lawyer, by night, huge high stakes gambler, and relationships with multiple women. And unfortunately, it sounds like he was, or the allegations are allegedly, he was using money from his law practice to fund all these women and fund all this gambling. And when you start to do that, when you start to draw money out of a business like that, in order to afford everything, you usually don't pay taxes, or you change your income so that it doesn't look like you're making quite as much, because if you're not paying taxes, then you have more to spend on gambling and women. So right now he's under indictment, and he's facing, probable prison. And what I thought was interesting was he's out on bail right now, awaiting trial, but he's permitted to only have 2 electronic devices, a phone and a desktop computer. But on top of that desktop computer, a message pops up every 5 minutes to inform him that the federal authorities are monitoring his activity. So I guess they allow him to have the computer because if he needs it for work, if he's doing any work at all, but the federal authorities are really monitoring him. And when I hear about things like this, first of all, it just reminds me, you just never you never know what's going on behind the facade that people put out, because this guy seemed to have had it all, and now he's probably facing a long prison sentence. And his marriage, he was married for a long time, that's now ending. His friends have abandoned him. He's nearly bankrupt. He's facing all of these federal charges. But when you hear about the federal authorities monitoring him every 5 minutes and watching what he's doing on his desktop and his computer and his phone, then how do we hear about all these other people who seem to get let out of jail when they've done things that are really, really bad? I don't know if it's poor decisions on the judge's part that let them out, or the sentencing to begin with isn't harsh enough to fit these crimes. But I sometimes fall on the side of maybe we need to keep these people in jail a little bit longer. But it's interesting to me to see that the federal authorities are monitoring him. And earlier today, I was talking about that woman who had who tried to assassinate Gerald Ford early in the 70s. And what that article mentioned was that, and I never knew this until I read this article, when you try to assassinate or when you threaten a public official like that and are convicted of it, the Secret Service monitors you essentially for the rest of your life. So she still has a Secret Service person basically following her around because she could potentially be a threat to those in authority. So, and I talked about that story about how she met that man on a dating site, and she had to explain who the Secret Service person was, and she would just tell people that he was her nephew. So, you learn a lot by reading some of these stories. So we have 1 day left in 2025. It was a great year, the Super Bowl. We won the Super Bowl. Not a good year for the Phillies, not a good year for the Jersey election, but I am looking forward to 2026. I'm looking forward to Dawn Stensland hosting the Mummers Parade, and you can hear me again at 10 o'clock on January 2nd, filling in for Dawn. And for now, this is Linda Kerns on 1210 WPHT saying thank you to Justin Otero. I tease him, but he is just an amazing producer, and Happy New Year to everybody.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT will ring in 2020.